get through
Good morning.
coffee. I don't know what happened. We sat outside with the kids last night, and the kids were doing cartwheels and all that stuff, and then they got sinus issues, and man, I've had a headache. I woke up in the middle of the night with a headache. I don't know if it was just like allergies or what.
A lot of pollen out there.
Yeah.
Did you get my text? You got to love Chevy here.
Yeah, it's 6:20.
Yeah, assuming we go 20 minutes.
Agreed.
All right. Here we go.
All right, I'll go right here. I'm just killing a spider. Sorry, guys. Going after a spider over here.
All right, you're up.
Happy Wednesday morning to you. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, and whoever wants to join us this morning. We work our way through the week here, 1 day away from the Masters. We continue to watch that no par 3 tournament today. I actually talked to a couple people that were down there yesterday. It sounds like it is a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun this week. Conditions are going to be fantastic. So we're 1 day away from that, and we'll talk a lot about the Masters this morning. Your thoughts on it, who you think will win, maybe some memories. If you've been down there in the past, it is neat to have a tournament like that so close to our own home. The other thing, Gamecocks last night, they go to a neutral site, take on North Carolina, not able to get the job done. They lose 3-2 in 10 innings to North Carolina. So that's how we'll start our day. If you got something you want to weigh in on this morning, 803-404-6100 is how you can join us. Love Chevy phone lines, Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Both ways you can reach us. You can also do so via the live stream. You get in touch with us that way as well. We've already got DC and Chris up welcoming us, telling us good morning on the live stream. So you can just go to YouTube, go to 1075 The Games channel and subscribe, watch us. You can check us out, Facebook, Twitter, all kinds of ways. So we've got a lot that we'll get into here throughout the morning. Again, the South Carolina news. There is another South Carolina basketball player in the transfer portal. We'll get into that as well and where that program continues to head as we remove ourselves from college basketball season. So plenty to get into. I almost forgot about the basketball situation, but we'll get into that as well. Again, if you want to join us, 803-404-6100. And again, yes, Neil weighs in, one of the first ones on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. He asked, we still have some technical issues, hoping to have that fixed later today with some technical issues on the actual radio feed. So it might be easier to listen via the TuneIn app or through the internet stream, or again, join us on the actual YouTube page there and subscribe to that. So we apologize. We're continuing to work on that. We will keep you updated, but certainly they're working hard to get that fixed. Little piece went out the other day. We got to get that in and get it taken care of. So Patrick, welcome in this morning. How you feeling? It was a after really about 4 days, Final Four, pretty good weekend of golf. You had South Carolina baseball against Georgia. Then you had the national championship games. You go back to Friday night. You had the women's game. Kind of last night, everything's settling down a little bit. Not quite the same night of sports.
Yeah, well, it's kind of nice after the marathon that is the NCAA tournament is over. We can exhale and turn all of our attention fully to college lacrosse now, right?
Oh, of course, yes. I totally forgot about
that. Big weekend.
Yes, is it a big weekend? What is the big weekend?
Maryland plays Michigan. I don't know, not that big. Maryland, it's a group of 3 right now in the college lacrosse world. Duke, North Carolina, and Maryland are all in a league separate from everybody else at this moment. So I just get pumped up to watch Maryland play every Saturday. Maryland lacrosse is while I work the baseball games here and just listen to Derek and Tommy on the radio and just watch Maryland lacrosse on my laptop, it's just become my Saturday tradition.
To be honest,
such a good time doing it.
Thought you were going to go a different direction with that. The Washington Nationals got their season underway last night with a 6-5 victory over the Braves. I thought that might have been the direction.
A walk-off for Soto in game one, of course. Down 5 starters. The Braves must just stink. You guys must just be terrible. Whoever. We have a lot of Braves fans listening. They've been heartbroken every single year, but they're clearly just not a good team. The Nationals had a catcher off the street 2 days ago who's never called Max Scherzer in his life and goes and picks up a win in game one. Ugh. Brutal.
All right, so you got Patrick ready to just he's fired up. He's ready to go this morning. Yeah, the Braves dropped their 4th straight game. They're 0-4 on the season last night to the Washington Nationals. You've got
doubleheader today.
Doubleheader today. We'll get into that a little bit. Major League Baseball starting to cruise through. Actually watched a little bit of afternoon baseball yesterday. It was the Tigers and the Twins there. Grayson Greiner playing for the Tigers, so I watched a little bit of that. Continue to watch a lot of the Masters, but yeah, it was a kind of a sports-free night last night. Did watch South Carolina and North Carolina again. The Tar Heels 3-2 in 10 innings there. South Carolina can't get the job done. They're 2-1 now in extra inning games this season. Josiah Seitler with a home run last night. The Gamecocks now 45 home runs on the year. It's actually pretty solid. So, but not enough to get the job done. Last night they drop it 3-2 in the 10th inning up in Charlotte. They'll get ready for Missouri this weekend. It's one of those things. You need to win those midweek games, Patrick. You got to win them. You need to win them. But if you can continue, given the schedule that they play in SEC in conference play, given who you're going to play over the next 6 weeks, one loss isn't going to hurt you. You just have to continue to neighbor. I got a neighbor outside. It's dark and he's jumping around and just scared. If you were on the live stream, you saw it. It just absolutely.
Stand outside your back door?
Yeah, he's out. Like, you know how sometimes we have people stand out and
at the windows in the studio.
Yeah.
That's because at our studio here, some people think it's a television station and they wave and think they're on the camera, like in the background of the Today Show.
Okay, that threw me off.
You've got a madhouse over there. People just we'll be watching on the live stream sometimes, and it'll just be a revolving door at Bill's house. People just walking in left and right. Just a constant party.
Yeah.
Now all the live streams we're watching Bill have a conversation. Does this person know that you do a radio show?
He's going to the Masters, and he's going to buy me a shirt. He's going to buy me a shirt, and so he's telling me he's telling me to text him what I want to wear before 8:30. So we'll all join in together and remind me. That absolutely terrifying. I apologize. That's ADD radio at its best. And it was out on my back porch, and he was jumping around and completely caught me off guard. So I apologize. Oh, midweek games, yes. So you got to win them, but with South Carolina's remaining schedule, keep winning baseball games in conference play. You'll be okay. I'm assuming you agree with that, correct?
Yeah, I mean, this is why I was going to, when I was saying how it's good that they won on Sunday, or their one loss last weekend came on came on Friday instead of Sunday, because people are just so overreactionary, and I already know we're going to get a bunch of texts like, this is terrible, like, can't win away from home, and I think Chris texted in 5 a.m. this morning, said another loss on the road. We just don't play well away. Isn't it only 3 wins away from home now? It's like, yeah, it is. But, I mean, you also did just win a series on the road last weekend. So, I mean, it's still too early to overreact to things. North Carolina, I think, is not that great this year, but they're a generally good program, and it's not anything to freak out about. Just win the series this weekend, sweep if you can, and we'll regroup next week. It's not a big deal.
I'm with you. No reason to panic. We'll see how they do. They do need to win the series this weekend at home against Missouri, especially given that South Carolina, you look at who they play over the next 4 weekends after that. It'll be a big series, but you can bounce back quickly. Again, 803-404-6100, how you can join us this morning if you want to do that. Again, the Masters Roll Zone. Patrick, have you ever gotten in? Is the Masters something that you've gotten excited about since moving to Columbia, going to college here? Was it something you paid that much attention to? You're not a huge golf fan. Is it something that you ever got into that much?
Not really. I mean, I do remember, I not just when I moved here. I remember kind of my freshman year of college too, when I was in New York watching the Masters on my computer in class, and that's kind of been the biggest thing when I was in school was just always watching on my computer. It gives you something. I always like when there's sports on in the morning or in the middle of the afternoon that I can watch and kind of just kill time. And that's pretty much been the extent of me caring about the Masters. And I mostly just love golf to have when I'm really sleepy on like a Sunday afternoon. Golf is my favorite thing to have on. I like to pop it on when the early groups are playing, take my nap and wake up. And by that time, you'll be there for like the last 4 or 5 holes and get to watch it close down. I don't really care, but I like watching it's like probably the most soothing thing to have on TV while you nap.
I agree.
Beautiful scenery, like Jim Nance's calming voice, guys just doing cool things. I can't get excited about watching golf on TV because I find it hard to follow, and usually they'll only keep the same couple groups on, and just the whole idea of like I watch a guy swing and then I watch where the ball lands, and I'm just like, okay, well,
it's a very cool. Very relaxing sport for a lot of us. We've grown up. If you've grown up here in the Midlands, you probably.
Well, how much will you watch though? Like, will you watch every second?
I can't say I'll watch every second. I will watch a lot. I've had it owned the live at the Masters or whatever they call it. I've got it owned right now. They've got Lee Westwood, of course. Right now they're showing stuff from yesterday, but
like Saturday and Sunday on the weekend, no shows. It'll start what, like 8 a.m. and end at 5. How long does it go on the weekends?
Yeah, no, it'll go till 6ish. Well, I say that at Saturday will go towards 6ish, and then they'll have a replay of it. It'll be on consistently. It will,
because I know a lot of people will wake up on Saturday and Sunday and just be in front of their TV the entire day and just watch golf for 8-10 hours, whatever it is, and that's something I just cannot do.
No, it will be something. Now, I do have some plans for the weekend. Austin's got a doubleheader in a soccer game on Sunday. That's going to interrupt watching of the Masters. Saturday, I'll be at the Top Golf down at Williams-Brice Stadium. That'll interrupt some of it. But, yeah, by and large, I'm looking now. You got your Dustin Johnson, Lee Westwood, and Tyler Strafasi, maybe is how you say his name, an amateur. And they'll be teeing off tomorrow there. Let's go back to that and see exactly what time their tee times are. But, yeah, they go tomorrow. Looks like 1:36 is what it's listed at here. But, you know, it is something I get into, and that's why I ask you ask everybody 803-404-6100, Cool Care Heating and Air text line, or you can hit us up on the Love Chevy phone lines. The live stream up and running this morning. Again, Carlton, Daniel, Chris all weighing in. Chris telling everybody Patrick is just trolling this morning. RL saying good morning. Good morning to everybody on the live stream. Who is your pick? 803-404-6100. Who is your Masters pick for the week? Give me your Masters pick and the score. Whatever you got at the score there, you think it's going to go, you think it's going to be a little bit higher, closer to 10 under, closer to 1 under. Who is your pick? And then what is your favorite, if you have one, what is your favorite Masters memory? So we'll start with that this morning. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us that way. Again, who is your pick? We'll go ahead and put them in. We'll look them. We'll try and track them. We'll kind of do our own little competition since Tim and Jen are out. But 803-404-6100, who is your Masters pick? And then give us your Masters memory. I was actually at the Masters when Tiger chipped in on 16th. I think that was 2004, I believe is when it was, 2004, 2005. That would have to be for me, that would have to be my my Masters memory. So 803-404-6100, how you can join us this morning. One other thing that we will get to today, news coming out yesterday regarding South Carolina men's basketball. You know, I kind of figured something like this was going to happen. Justin Minaya not only he's attempting to play pro ball. We'll get into this a little bit. He is going to try and go play pro ball. It'll probably be overseas is where it'll probably end up being. That's what I expect. But he also enters his name into the transfer portal. So regardless of what happens, Justin Minaya now will definitely not be back with the South Carolina basketball program. He joins Trey Hannibal and Jalen McCrary and TJ Moss as guys that I would say are definitely not going to be back. So we'll talk about that and get into that a little bit more. But that was certainly a little bit more basketball news. Patrick, this is now 6 guys. We still haven't heard from A.J. Lawson. We expect A.J. Lawson to leave. South Carolina has 4 guys coming in, 3 of them signed, a 4th that is not signed, and then they have landed a commitment from Chico Carter. So 5 guys right now coming in. You got it looks like at least 5 guys. I'm going ahead and counting AJ Lawson in that situation departing, and then we'll see what happens with Cousinard and Bryant. But certainly it's going to be an entirely different basketball team next year for Frank Martin.
Yeah, I mean it's almost everyone is just leaving at this point. Didn't I heard a couple days ago. Have you followed what's happening at Cincinnati, where their coach, he got either placed on leave or fired because they had so many guys transferred and their number was 6, and 6 was so much that the school decided they needed to go into a full-on investigation and figure out what was going on. And now South Carolina is in exactly the same position, it seems like. And I've been saying, like, you were a really bad team last year. You shouldn't really freak out about any individual person leaving, but 6 is a lot. And I would have said that Justin Minaya, when I asked last week, would anyone leaving surprise you? Or is there anyone that could leave that would really stun you at this point? And I was thinking the only person was Justin Minaya, because he just seems like such a frank guy, like kind of a glue player that seems to be the perfect Frank Martin type of player. And they do kind of seem to have a good relationship. Frank has always gone to bat when Justin has gotten criticized. So I am a little surprised, and he has to know he's not going to the NBA, I would think.
I would assume. That's why I say overseas. I don't ever want to write anybody off, but I would assume that he knows that he will be playing overseas unless he finds a program that that he likes and is comfortable with. Certainly, we have seen attrition and turnover in Frank Martin rosters before to this level. It's a little extreme. So how that translates to 2021, 2022, and next basketball season remains to be seen. I can't sit here and say that I know enough about Chico Carter to start analyzing and breaking down what this basketball team will be next year. You can coordinate the schedule, the non-conference schedule, to certainly help your record. The conference next year, I don't know what to expect of the SEC in basketball next year when you look at the conference. I think Auburn will be better. LSU is probably going to be pretty good. Kentucky is Kentucky. You kind of go down the list. Florida's had a bunch of transfers. So it remains to be seen. We'll get more into this as we go through the show here. But, yeah, Justin Minaya, the latest to enter the transfer portal for South Carolina. Also, again, putting his name in the NBA draft. But I would think that's more of, like you said, Patrick, put your name in the draft, maybe you get some feedback, then try and find a college that you want to transfer to. And who knows, maybe after a 5th year, you've got a chance maybe to slip into the league. But I'm with you. Obviously, more likely that he ends up going overseas to have a career. And I think he'd have an okay career, make a little bit of money too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of leagues to go playing overseas. Did you know, off the top of your head, before reading, maybe if you read or not, what year Justin Minaya even was? Because I had to go on the roster and look it up.
He's technically he is a senior. He's been here 4 years.
Right. He's a redshirt. He was a redshirt junior last year, so now he would be a redshirt senior, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
He should have. He probably graduated by now, which is another reason that you might want to just say, "All right, I'm going overseas," or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. We'll get into some of your text on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. We'll continue to talk about the Masters. Who is your pick and what is the score is my question to you. Also, what is your favorite Masters memory? RL weighs in. He says Jordan Spieth. I'll ask Patrick when we come back. Is Jordan Spieth the hot pick? He's now 10-1 odds to win the Masters. RL also says Tiger's first Masters win is my favorite to this point. I do remember that very well. I was in high school. I recorded everything on a VHS. I got the whole thing, the VHS collection of Tiger Woods winning the Masters. So we'll talk a little bit more Masters. We'll continue to talk about this Gamecock basketball situation. South Carolina baseball dropping a 3-2 decision in 10 innings last night to North Carolina. If you've got something else you want to weigh in, if you've got draft talk, we talked about Sam Darnold to the Panthers yesterday. Some of you want to get in, weigh in, ask Patrick some draft questions. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. It may seem like everybody is selling pre-owned cars these days. Love Chevrolet selling a ton of them too, but did you know there's a big difference between a used vehicle and a Love Chevrolet certified pre-owned vehicle? A Love Chevrolet certified pre-owned vehicle has a 6-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty, a 12-month, 12,000-mile bumper-to-bumper limited warranty, roadside assistance, courtesy transportation, 3-day, 150-mile exchange policy, scheduled maintenance program, limited OwnStar trial, free Carfax. I go on and on and on. You get it. There's a lot of stuff there that Love Chevrolet is helping you feel comfortable with when you purchase a pre-owned vehicle from them. Trust the dealership that's been family owned and proudly been serving generations of families for over 60 years. Go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. You can visit them on the web, lovechevy.com. Again, why would you trust your purchase with anybody else? All those things I just mentioned and so many more amazing benefits. Go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or again on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads. All right. Let me get some coffee here. Now he's back. Good grief. That was open.
You all right?
Wow. I saw it was kind of one of those things.
Maybe you thought it might be some light up.
Once
You
I
think
was
it's like crazy.
all of a sudden I just saw a white shirt. I saw the white shirt and I was like, and then it kind of my eyes like locked in and I couldn't see it was you. I just knew somebody was there and I was like, and you kind of did something. I was like, someone's out there. And then I think with my
When you got it at night, that's all that shit happened. I fucking went upstairs. I had a gun by the bed all night. Cause I'm thinking, first of all, I realized I'm going to know she's coming.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill myself. So I'm going to kill fucking still blind. I wondered, I what the thing is. I think I had to see each other. I did see this thing. Just to remove the size of what you want, you know, the description.
I'll see the
Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this paper with me again, because I like Chris wants an umbrella, Ryan just wants a shirt. Fucking Steve wants, they got these bags, these little colorful bags, and he wants 2 of those. He wants the zip up shirt, he wants, if he doesn't want green or black, he wants it to be like colorful, so I don't know about that. Then he wants something else, I can't remember what, visors, he wants some black and tan visors. And then, like I said, I got some titles people want. The problem is I'm probably not going to shop on the course. I'm probably going to shop at Berkman's, which means you'll get shit that nobody else has, but it won't be as big a selection. Because I doubt I'll go in that store by the front gate. I'll probably go to Berkman's, because Berkman's, they got shit that you need to get fucking old. I mean, they'll have what's the name, putters with putter, Arnie. No, the one that nobody likes.
Oh, Scotty Campbell.
Yes, I have Scotty Campbell putter, like grand putters and shit.
I'll text you here in a little while. I'll text you. Have fun.
We have a couple calls, we'll leave at 7.
Thankfully, it's Bill and I this morning, and we are not the baseball experts. If Tim was here, we'd probably be doing a lot more baseball talk. Just how we could troubles though. A lot of speed picks though. I think I'm gonna pick speed.
No, we're not talking about baseball that much. How much time we got?
4 minutes.
4? Okay, I got time. Jim came back. He's going to the he's all fired up. He's going to the Masters, but man, he caught me off guard there because all I saw was a white shirt like out front. My eyes were focused here and looked over.
Is he going right now?
Yeah, in about 30 minutes. So leaving at 7.
Yeah, actually 2 minutes. We got a text about this too. I don't know what we're supposed to say about the. It's not a sports topic. Darla Moore thing.
Yeah, RL. I had to actually, to be honest with you, I had to look up what you were talking about. I missed that yesterday.
I saw the letter yesterday, but I mean, as soon as the show started, we had been talking for like 30 seconds, and this guy Donald, the Clemson guy, says, "What? Nothing on Darla Moore getting pissed at USC?" Like, well, first of all, we've been on the air for 1 minute, and it's not going to be our opening topic because it doesn't have anything to do with sports.
Where did Donald weighed in
on Twitter? Yeah. He said it like, "Oh, you guys are really not going to mention this?" No, we're not going to open the show with that, with a non-sports topic. Why would we?
That guy in that profile picture? That is a profile picture for the ages.
It is a Clemson fan for sure.
That is a profile picture. No, I don't know enough about it. It's her mother's funeral.
Yeah, her mother passed away, and the school didn't say anything about it, and she's upset. I don't know. I don't know what we're supposed to say about that. That's unfortunate.
She's old too. I think Darla Moore's in her 80s, isn't she? She was having some. I think Darla Moore is. I thought she's in her 80s. I don't think you can blame anybody for this. I think
66.
How old is she?
66.
Okay. All right. I was 14 years away.
All right. You're up.
804-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. Again, got the question out there for you. Who do you think will win the Masters and by what score? We'll kind of go with that. Derek weighs in. Jordan Spieth wins at 8 under. And then his favorite memory is Jack winning in 86. I was there. It was awesome, Derek says. That's a pretty strong memory. 8 under is going to be a lot, man. They're talking about this course playing very difficult, playing closer to even par this week. Golfers are talking about.
They always say that for every major, though, and then it never ends up happening. Right? Isn't that always the talking point? Like, doesn't every course put that out there? This reminds me of the NFL draft stuff where, like, it's just smokescreen season. Every course before the major says, "Oh, no, nobody's breaking par this week." And then it always happens because these guys are too good.
Well, you say that. Was it a couple of weeks? I'm trying to remember. Was it Bay Hill or maybe it was the Players where Bryson DeChambeau went in? It was like, no, this is a par 67. Like, basically went in. It was just like, no, the par 5s are nothing. This is not a This is not a par 72 or par 71 for me. This is a par 67. He basically admitted off the jump that this was going to be something he dominated. He did not do. I think it was the week after Bay Hill. I think it was the Players that he said that. But it's going to be entertaining. To me, part of the Masters, whether you like golf or not, and earlier DC on the live stream said he's not interested in the Masters, and I get it. Golf's not, for everybody, it's not a sport everybody gets into because, as Patrick pointed out, it is more of a napping on a. I think it's more of your father's napping on a Sunday afternoon sport in his recliner. I get into it, but having the Masters in April and kind of going back through what we're going through right now, watching the Final Four over the weekend. Obviously, again, having the Masters right now, it's a step toward the return to normal. And so just seeing that this weekend probably excites me more for the Masters, being able to see the azaleas in full bloom, being able to know people, as my neighbor just walked down here a few minutes ago and scared me, who's excited that he's going there for a practice round. I know tickets are available, but almost impossible to get for actual Thursday through Sunday rounds. It's a really cool thing. Now, Patrick, you talk about the score. You got the players saying it, not the course so much, but you got players basically saying, hey, this course is already playing as it would after it's dried out through a few days and guys stomping all over it, crowds being here. It's going to be interesting to see how they perform. It's going to be a little, not depressing, but a little sad not to, even though I don't know if he would have been in contention, it's going to be a little sad to not see Tiger Woods out there. I'm hoping that Phil Mickelson gives it a good run and hangs around for the weekend. You got those kind of things that I think make it entertaining, but we'll see if Jordan Spieth, who right now I'm noticing is a very, very popular pick amongst all of you to be the winner here. I don't think Spieth gets it done, by the way. It's a tournament that outside of Tiger, I don't feel like we typically see the favorite go in and win it. It wouldn't
Well,
surprise
he's not the favorite, right?
He's 10 to
He's like
1.
3 or 4, right? Isn't he? I thought Dustin was the betting favorite.
Let's look and give you the exact
While you're
odds.
looking, I will say that I heard this stat yesterday. I didn't care to look it up, but I'm going with it. Only 2 guys have won the Masters after winning the week prior. So it's always kind of a trend in golf. Oh, this guy won last week. He's hot. I'm going to take him again. It's only happened twice. Sandy Lyle did it in, I don't know, when was he? Like 90s, 80s? I don't even know. He's like in his 60s, right? So I don't know how old he was when he did it. But the last one to do it was Phil, and I think 2006 was the year that I saw. So it's a popular thing to say he won last week and let's keep it going. But statistically, historically, it hasn't really panned out that way.
Yeah, DJ 9 to 1 odds. He's just barely a favorite over Spieth, and Justin Thomas with 10 to 1. DeChambeau is 11 to 1. John Rahm, who will only play one practice round because he just had, or his wife, not he, but his wife just had a baby, and he flew in. I think he's flying in today or flew in last night, and will play a practice round today before playing this weekend. McIlroy is 14 to 1. And then
this is the least hype McIlroy's had going into a Masters in a while, right?
Hasn't played well. He hasn't played well. It's kind of like yesterday. We kind of talked about it with Ricky Fowler and our surprise that Ricky Fowler just wasn't in it because he didn't qualify. And he hasn't won a tournament in a long time. And so you end up with a situation where Ricky Fowler not qualifying for the Masters and kind of caught both of us a little off guard. So with all that being said, it should be a very interesting tournament. It's something that, look, I get it. Again, if you're not into it, I will admit, if you're not a Columbia native, maybe it's something that you're just not I think being in Columbia, Patrick, I don't know how you feel, DC, having the RBC Heritage that's next weekend down in Hilton Head. I've been there multiple times. It's a blast. Quail Hollow up in Charlotte, always a good time. Having the Masters, I think it's just one of those things where, if you don't get into golf, I totally get it. That's fine. But it is around here a premium sport and something that a lot of people do really get into, again, get pretty fired up about. So we'll see.
No, a lot of people get into it in the Northeast too. I mean, I know that obviously there's bunches of courses in like Bethpage had a US Open a couple years ago in New York. So I spent a year there, and Tiger had his tournament at Congressional in DC every year for a while there. And I know my dad went to one of those tournaments, but I just personally I had never played a round of golf. I didn't have golf clubs until I got to South Carolina in 2015. So, I mean, I've played literally one round of golf in my entire life, and I do think it's harder to get into a sport that you've just never played or hardly ever played.
Let's see here. A couple people weighing in. Craig weighs in. He says, I'm going Justin Thomas, 10 under. Time for him to get one. Jan says Patrick Cantlay is a person to keep an eye on. Jim weighs in on the personal text line. He says dark horse Matt Kuchar playing really well of late. So you've got a bunch of people weighing in this morning. If you want to do so, 803-404-6100, how you can do so. If you're heading down there today, have a blast. It should be another beautiful day. We've gone on a string of great days. We'll talk a little bit about that. Again, we'll get back into the basketball situation for South Carolina. Certainly something that needs to be discussed as Justin Minaya enters his name into the transfer portal and also puts his name in the NBA draft. Although, again, Patrick and I both thinking that's more just to get some feedback, and then we'll see what he does. We'll continue talking about that. Anything you want to weigh in on, 803-404-6100. That's how you can join us this morning. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
All right, Crowder.
Oh, getting excited for the Masters, getting excited to save money on your home, on your current mortgage payment. Both. It's about the same. It's really about the same. They really are, man. You get excited to watch the Masters. Maybe you're going to watch it in a brand new home you just bought. Maybe you used the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder, to save money. Interest rates still low, and Jacob and his team are helping people save $200, $300, $400 a month. That's right. He's added Brian Kovar to the team to help even more homeowners. So when you give him a phone call this morning, you're getting even more help. 803-719-1005. I'm giving phone numbers all over the place here. I got to remember to keep these phone numbers straight. But Jacobs is 803-719-1005. You can email him, the letter J, Crowder, CROWDER, at firstpalmetto.com. Kovar likes to tell you he's a Hoosiers fan, the movie Hoosiers, not Indiana, the basketball team. He wants you to not get caught watching the paint dry. That means don't wait around and miss a golden opportunity with these interest rates. Give Brian and Jacob a call today, 803-719-1005. He's the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder, with First Palmetto Bank.
Finishing the top 10 here around Augusta National because he knows the premises so well.
87 in Augusta. Woo.
But I think for Rory, it's just getting a beat and some belief in the.
Let's see what the ESPN people. What am I clicking? I must be on the on the CBS feed here. Let's see here. All right. Starting to get a little energy, guys. I was a little early. Yeah, the Darla Moore thing, we're not going to touch that. Her mother was 89.
What does it have to do with anything?
Well, I mean, she is a big donor to the school,
Yeah.
But you're right. In terms of sports or anything,
Golf talk and not addressing your school's latest PR mess, definitely a channel changer. Boring.
Who said that?
Same guy on Twitter, Donald on Twitter. He tweeted us twice. He tweeted us first when the first thing we said wasn't that Darla Moore is angry, and then again,
I liked his tweet for him.
Just kidding away.
Yes, golf talk and not. Yeah, we're not.
Hey, we got to. I got it right here. I can read it. Next time we do Masters talk, I got to read this thing about the updates.
Go ahead and read it when we come back.
All right.
Bring it if you won't bring us in and go ahead and read it, and then you can kind of any NFL news we need to get into.
I don't think so.
Falcons open to trading the number 4 pick. We could tell that guy that we could talk about Deshaun Watson. Oh, Patrick's on the phone. He missed my clever joke. I tell you what, I spent too much time. How good. Yeah, North Carolina. That was a good game. It just didn't go South Carolina's way. Cullen, I was in and out. I was with the kids. I missed the count, the UNC team lose track of the count last night. I was in and out. I watched most of the game, but I don't remember that. I must have just missed that. I'm going to need more of an explanation on that. Oh, I need to try during the show to see if I can track down some Masters merchandise. Yeah, I missed that. Yeah, I didn't see I must have walked outside. The kids were playing around outside, and we were hanging out, and I must have just flat missed that. We're done with breaks this hour, right? I hit that one a little bit early.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll have a good 8 minutes here.
Well, sprinklers are coming on. Oh, I'm getting a little. Yeah, do the Masters liner, and then I will talk a little Gamecock basketball and how to wrap up this hour. We will move on. My clock on my computer is screwy. It's telling me it's 6:44 now, which is correct, and it's not been saying that all week.
All right, I'll open it with this.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're up. 6:45 on a Wednesday. Patrick Barrett here with Bill Gunter. No Tim Hill this week. No Jen Jensen this week. They are both on vacation. Well-deserved time off. And it's Masters Week, which means we will have updates from Augusta for you twice an hour starting today, about 12:15 this afternoon. They'll play twice an hour, and that's Westwood One coverage. Going to be sponsored by McDaniels Volkswagen, home of the hashtag Kiss the Car on Killian. Nobody in the southeast does it better. And Bill, what time? I'm pulling it up right now. What time does it start tomorrow? What time?
First
7
team
or something?
time?
Or
Good question.
have you looked? Have you even looked at the groups? Do you know what are there any groups that jump out at you?
Yeah, there's a Dustin Johnson, Lee Westwood pairing that'll be fun. I think first tee time. Now you've always got, and I will say, I've been once on a Thursday morning years ago, a long time ago, to see the starters. That was when it was Arnie and Jack and Gary Player. It's a really cool kind of scene. You got to get down there early. I don't even know, honestly, if they're still. I know, obviously, I don't know if they're doing it. I don't know exactly how they're doing it. I know Lee Elder is joining them tomorrow for the traditional tee off and how everything goes, and it's going to be pretty cool. But it'll start. I think that takes place at around 7:54, and then the first tee time is 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
I'm looking at it now. Michael Thompson and Hudson Swafford.
Yep.
I've not heard of either of them.
Little two-man group. It's just going out for a little golf on a Thursday morning. Just a little golf amongst friends on a Thursday morning. So we'll continue to keep you updated on that. Obviously, again, a fun event for everybody around here. Yeah, you're talking about the groups. Brooks Koepka, Bubba Watson will be in a group together. Webb Simpson, Sergio Garcia together tomorrow. 10:30 tomorrow. I'm sorry, 1:30 on Friday, but 10:30 tomorrow morning. Dustin Johnson and Lee Westwood. Maybe your main group tomorrow, just as I scroll through, John Rahm, Alexander Schauffele, and Roy McIlroy at 10:42. They will be following DJ and Lee Westwood, so you'll be able to.
Spieth and Morikawa at 2 p.m. is also.
So you got you'll be a good day. Be a good weekend of golf. Weigh in, continue if you want to. 803-404-6100. Your picks for the Masters and your score. Put your score in there. Let's see if you can nail the right score. Obviously, the other news yesterday, South Carolina losing last night 3-2 to North Carolina in 10 innings. But the other news yesterday, Justin Minaya entering the transfer portal. That is now 6 Gamecocks who have elected to at least test their name elsewhere. And by that, I mean 2 guys, Cousinard and Keyshawn Bryant. We don't know exactly what their intentions are. We know they're testing the NBA waters, but they're not in the transfer portal. 4 players, TJ Moss, Trey Hannibal, Jalen McCrary, and now Justin Minaya are in the transfer portal. So you assume those guys would not be back. I'm not going to sit here and defend the program, because when you go 6-15, certainly there are issues, as South Carolina did this year. Those can be discussed in a variety of different ways. I don't think it is one thing. I don't think it's just COVID that caused South Carolina to go 6-15 this year. I think there's a multitude of issues that need to be fixed within the basketball program. I think given what South Carolina was going to have in the coaching search and who the selection could end up being, I think that Frank Martin is probably the best option to try and get the ship straightened out and fixed. But I don't think there's any guarantee to doing it. Now, you had to know when they had 4 guys signed that there was going to be attrition from this basketball team. You just kind of had to assume that, given that the scholarship numbers weren't necessarily going to work out in South Carolina's favor. I do think losing Trey Hannibal and Jalen McCrary, this is my personal opinion, I think losing Jalen McCrary and Trey Hannibal is a blow. I think those are guys that you really could have built around. Again, I'm higher than most. I can tell via the text line. I can tell via Patrick. I can tell via the live stream that I'm higher on Jalen McCrary than pretty much everybody else. I'm higher on South Carolina's post players as a whole. I think that it's a developmental position, but I liked what they had. Those are the 2 guys that I think right now you look at hurt the most leaving. Mania, for whatever reason, just never really developed. He had a hard time, suffered those injuries. And then TJ Moss, it struggled, I think is the right way to put that. Patrick, you had to know there was going to be attrition, maybe not to the extent that you're seeing, but you had to know there was going to be some of this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I probably would have expected 3 or 4. 6 is just a lot. And at this point, I'd almost be surprised if there wasn't another one at the rate that these guys are going. But I don't know. There's also a chance that any of them can come back. I don't know what Frank Martin's policy on guys entering the transfer portal, letting them back or not. But I know some coaches have a strict, hey, if you enter the transfer portal, your spot is gone. Like, you go ahead and transfer. We haven't ever had anyone. No, we haven't had anything like this before, I was thinking. But I don't know, man. It's just do you think any of them end up at, I guess, even like a high major university?
Yeah, I think Hannibal. I think a Power 5 conference, Hannibal and McCrary very well could.
I mean, there's how many guys last time we checked in the transfer portal? 1,000?
Yeah, there was 1,000. There was 1,000.
So, there's a lot of spots up for grabs here.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. And the transfer portal, I think we've seen it in football. It's the same in basketball. It is an issue. We might get into that a little bit, just the overall transfer portal discussion, but it is a lot of what you're seeing right now. I point to Florida. Florida's not Florida basketball is not in a worse situation than South Carolina, but you just saw 5 guys transfer out of a program that made the NCAA tournament, made the second round of the NCAA tournament. So, I don't think it's just a coach or a program thing. It is a thing where players look around now and know they have the ability to jump and go to different schools. And we'll kind of continue to see that as long as this one-time transfer exemption is open. Let's get out to the phone lines real quick. If he's still there, Greg is up and has a question on the Love Chevy phone lines about Frank Martin. Greg, good morning. How are you doing? What's on your mind?
Hey, good morning, guys. Really enjoyed your show. Long-time listener. Even though I'm a Tiger fan, I still enjoy it.
We appreciate that.
Martin, I heard from you guys the last couple of weeks. I listen to you every day. You talk about this is a political move by South Carolina to extend Coach Martin. Is that correct?
We haven't, so not on our show. We don't. I don't know. There's a lot to it, obviously, and it's played out. I will say this, Greg. I think the bad thing is it's played out publicly to where politics seem to be involved in it instead of behind the scenes where you need to keep these kind of things.
So if it's political, was this not the same move that Coach Tanner made with Muschamp after it looked like, well, maybe we should keep him. He might be the better alternative than trying to find another guy after a couple years.
You must be talking about last year.
Well, he extended Muschamp, and then next thing you know, we got to get rid of him.
Well, and appreciate the phone call. You got a little bit of that backwards there. They extended Muschamp based on a bowl. They were going to a bowl game. That was the Belk Bowl. That was the last time South Carolina went to a bowl game. Muschamp got an extension. I don't think he got a raise. they didn't extend him after the 4 and 8 season. And quite frankly, Patrick and I talked about that at the time. One of the reasons they kept him was because of the recruiting class that had Jordan Birch and Marshawn Lloyd and Luke Doty. That was a big reason that he got kept. But no, he didn't get an extension after the 4 and 8 season. He just had a decent recruiting class that may help Shane Beamer a little bit coming in, and that was a big deal, was holding on to that recruiting class, but no extension. So we appreciate the phone call. Do appreciate you listening. We got 2 more hours to do it. We'll continue to talk about this basketball situation, a little baseball, a little Masters, anything else on your mind. You're listening to the early game, 107.5 The Game. Kovar mentioned your name already. Got you and got the don't get caught watching the paint dry reference for you. Made sure you were taken care of on that. Try to mention that for you every morning. There's your local mortgage guru, Brian Kovar, on the live stream. You can look him up. Oh, Richard doesn't like you, Patrick.
No, he doesn't like me. That's because I've ripped him a couple times. This is the same guy that I basically disagreed with every point he made about Sam Darnold yesterday. And also a couple weeks ago, he said something about, like, you're an idiot. Kyle Trask will be by far the best quarterback in this draft class.
Anything for you, bro. Anything. I got it. Yeah, Patrick.
Trevor Lawrence is good, but he's another Matt Ryan at best. And I was like, oh, Matt Ryan, you mean former league MVP? Okay.
All right. I got to make some decisions on what I want from the Masters here. I think I want a pullover, but the problem is, oh, good Lord, those pullovers are $189.
Isn't everything really expensive?
I don't know. I wasn't looking at prices, and now I am. Is it okay to get a blue Masters pullover? Doesn't that seem?
Why wouldn't it be?
Everything's green down there.
Oh.
I feel like you got to have. I feel like you got. If you're gonna get something from the Masters, it's got to be green.
I feel like they're I've seen like blue quarters. That's one of my buddies has a blue quarters that he wears all the time. It's really nice.
This website I'm looking at has whatever you call it, like the sweater vest. I don't know if you can see this. It's got the sweater vest.
Yeah.
But it's got the mannequin, so the dude just looks like jacked in the.
Oh, I see. Yeah. We almost have to start. We just have to start every hour talking about the radio issue.
Oh, is somebody else saying something about it?
Yeah. He said, trying to listen to you guys in the car is almost impossible and has been for about 3 days.
Yeah.
It has been since exactly 4:28 on Monday.
Yeah, it is true. It is true.
We know. We are sorry.
More. Get some coffee.
$95 for a pullover. Crazy though. Let's see what we're at. We were at, if you're watching on YouTube and not subscribed, we need you to subscribe. We're at 695. 5 more subscribers, please. Need something to hang our hats on this week.
I think either today or tomorrow I can finally go back to the gym after that's a month out after getting sick. That was the white pullover. I think you're right. I think I'm gonna go white pullover. Do they have any Yeti cups? Does anybody know?
You'd think so. Yeah, he's got their brand on it, everything.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kovar. I think the white is the direction to go on the pullover.
Can you really not have phones at the course?
No, not at Augusta. You can at the Heritage. Heritage is fun.
So when you go to the Masters and you're there all day, you just can't, like, you can't bring it in with you?
That is correct. But I guess you can. I don't know. I haven't been in a long time. I went so much from 2000 to 2010.
You can't even send a text message at the Masters.
Huh?
You can't send a text message or a tweet at the Masters?
I don't think so. Kovar's probably been. Craig, what do you think? Craig, can you think what's the phone situation down there? I don't think you can. I think you got to cut your phone off.
That's
I
legit.
think
That's
there might be now that you say it, there might be designated phone areas. They'll take your phone and your ticket.
So what do you leave it in your car? What if you're with a group? How do you find your group? How do you know what it is?
I think you can take it with you in, but you have to, if it goes off, that's when you lose everything.
He says they'll take your phone. Can't take it in. That's a long day too. How do you just not have your phone all day? I just can't believe that. So do you go through like security to get in and they just scan you for phones? Is that how it works? That just creates so many problems. Yes, they scan you. Yeah, that's wild. Ready, Bill?
I'm coming back.
Yep.
Wednesday morning, April the 7th. Hope you're doing well. Up and Adam this morning. If the kids are still on spring break, mine are, then you're probably having a little bit more relaxing morning. You're not having to fight through the school drop-off line. You're not having to navigate other parents trying to get to work in a hurry. It's if you've never been through a school drop-off line or pickup line, you're really, really missing out on a good time. It's a blast. And usually on a Wednesday morning right now, I would be taking the kids to school and doing that whole song and dance, dropping them off, avoiding other cars, avoiding people who are just grizzled early in the morning, who don't want to be dropping kids off, who don't really feel like going to work. But right now, kids are on spring break, and the weather is nice. The Masters is happening. Unfortunately, South Carolina lost a baseball game last night, 3-2 to North Carolina in 10 innings. Tough break for the Gamecocks. They're not able to get the job done. Again, up there in Charlotte, the Jack Mahoney, the starter, struck out 4, allowed 6 hits and a run in 4 innings of work. Julian Bosnick was tagged with the loss. He struck out a pair, allowed 3 hits and a run in 2 innings, but he suffers the loss. The Gamecocks will return to play with a 3-game series this weekend against Missouri Friday night at Founders Park. That'll start at 7 p.m. You can hear it right here on 107.5 The Game. It'll also be streamed on the SEC Network Plus. Gamecocks just struggling to hit the ball last night, but look, it happens. It's baseball. The Braves, I mean, look, Patrick was fired up for. We started the show. I asked Patrick on a night that sports kind of died down a little bit. You did have Major League Baseball, obviously. You had South Carolina, North Carolina in baseball on the SEC Network. But given how things had gone the last 4 days with the women's game on Friday night, Saturday night you had the Final Four and Jalen Suggs. Sunday was a good day of sports, and it was Easter. And then you had the national championship on Monday. It felt like last night was like a breather, Patrick. It felt like it was a night off. It'll really be the calm before the storm tonight, as unless I'm absolutely missing something, we don't have anything major tonight. Some Major League Baseball, maybe some NBA, maybe some hockey if you want to get into that. But everything kind of dies down before the Masters really gets going tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, it's with football and college basketball over, that's a large portion of what most people care about. I mean, a lot of people listening will just tune out as soon as we start talking about the NBA or hockey. So all they care about is baseball at this point. We're approaching the dog days of summer here pretty soon. It's going to get to the point where all we have to talk about is baseball, and that is not ideal for you and I because we are not the baseball experts.
We are not. I've done my baseball watching for the week, obviously with the start of Major League Baseball last week. I have gotten into it, and then I pretty much kind of zone out until sometime in August. I just have a hard time following a 162 game schedule. Speaking of real quick, we didn't get into it much last week, to my knowledge, or maybe I was off the one day y'all did. The 17 game NFL schedule. Just talking about long schedules. 17 games are going to go to 3 preseason NFL games, 17 game regular season schedule. Some of the players were not happy about it. Some of them probably didn't mind it. The pay structure, I think, is kind of interesting. I think there's an extra paycheck involved, but it's not extra money. Maybe you'll see that in contract negotiations as we move forward. But how did you feel about the 17 game NFL schedule now that'll run one more week? And the Super Bowl will now be pushed back. This is good news for all you guys. The Super Bowl will now be pushed back to what is essentially Valentine's weekend.
Yeah. This was definitely inevitable because when they renegotiated the CBA before last season, it had in there that the owners would be allowed to vote on adding a 17th game. So once the players gave the owners that opening at all, it was clearly going to be taken. And 17 – we had 16 for, 30 years or something like that. 17 is not going to last any more than probably the NFL can renegotiate their rights in 7 years. So I'd be surprised if it lasted more than 7 years. They've always wanted to go to 18. They want to have 2 preseason games. That's kind of the perfect number for them. 18 regular season games. They'll need to probably add another bye in there when they do that. I'm happy for more football, but I hate the number 17. I think it's going to be so brutal for scheduling. I like the idea that you can be a 500 team. I like that it's an even number. So at this point, I'm just ready for it to go to 18, but it will make things interesting. We're going to see, we're not going to see a perfect season. We're not going to see a winless season, I don't think. I think it makes it just even less likely. But, I mean, more football is good for everybody, I guess. But the players are upset because they are getting basically a 1/17th paycheck one more week, but it's not it's exactly what their salary is supposed to be. But because the NFL is adding a 17th game, their profits are going to go up exponentially. So eventually it will come around to the players because the salary cap will be huge. People think that in the next like 5 or so years, we're at 180 million right now. It's going to get up to 250 million within the next 10 years. So all of that's going to come back around to the players, but they are upset right now because as they always say, the season is such a grind. Their bodies are just beaten up by the end of the season. And I was surprised that they didn't add an extra bye week. I just thought it made a ton of sense to go ahead and add an extra bye in there, give the guys an extra week and an extra week of programming too. A 19-week season for the NFL would have been great.
Yeah, again, we didn't get enough into the NFL last week in terms of going into the 17-game schedule and what that meant. But certainly for the NFL, if you're an NFL fan, a little bit more football, you're not going to complain about that. I know everybody gets a little sad at the beginning of February after the Super Bowl when we realize there's no NFL for about.
The other thing though is records. Like not records, win-loss records.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna have. It's not gonna be that special to have a 2,000-yard rushing season anymore. Like
Right.
That's one of those great milestones. And Derrick Henry did it last year, and it was a huge deal because I don't know what the number is, like maybe eight guys. I'd have to look it up what the exact number is, but it's such a rare thing to run for 2,000 yards, and now it won't be. We're gonna have 5,000-yard passers every single year. It's just that one extra game is gonna skew the record books quite a bit. That's the one thing that kind of bums me out a little bit.
It will change things. I totally agree with you on that. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. Love Chevy phone lines, Cool Care Heating and Air text line. You can also join us on the live stream. Go to youtube.com, click on or type in 1075 The Game and check out the 1075 The Game YouTube page. You can subscribe. You can join us. You can watch us. You can interact with us off air, on air. It doesn't matter. So
we need 5 more. We need 5 more subscribers. We're at 695 right now. And this will be the perfect place. We understand. We got to keep mentioning this. We know that if you're listening on the radio dial, there might be glitches. We know that it's been happening since 4:28 on Monday afternoon, and it will be better today. I think all we know is that it's something about our transmitter is broken, so it's going over an internet connection, and it's hiccuping every once in a while. So just bear with us. It's good on the app. It's good on the live stream. But if you're listening on your radio dial, there will be hiccups, and we are working on it.
Yeah. So we got that going for us as well. And again, if you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100 is how you can do that this morning. You can also get at us on Twitter at Will WIL Gunter GUNTER or at _ Patrick Perrette is how you can do that. The other news from yesterday, of course, South Carolina losing another basketball player. Justin Minaya enters the transfer portal, and by doing that becomes the 4th player to enter the transfer portal, the 6th player to at least, I guess, explore his options is maybe the way to say it. Keyshawn Bryant, Jermaine Couisnard, both have not entered the transfer portal. Let's be clear about that. But what they have done is they're testing the NBA waters. Now, whether they come back or not, I do think it's interesting. And Richard hit us earlier. He agreed with me on the text line about losing Jalen McCrary and Trey Hannibal. I do think it's interesting if Couisnard comes back and Keyshawn Bryant comes back. You do have kind of a nucleus of 2 good players. Look, Jermaine Couisnard, for whatever reason, had a very bad sophomore season. There's nobody that can argue otherwise. Jermaine Couisnard was not good this year. But I have seen him play well as a freshman to know that there's talent there, that he can play in the SEC and he can be a contributor for South Carolina. We've seen that happen. Keyshawn Bryant has done the same thing. If those 2 guys are back, and we don't know. We have no clue what's going to happen. We at least publicly don't know. Maybe they know privately what they're already going to do. If those 2 guys come back, it does change the dynamics of what Frank Martin's team looks like next year. You add Chico Carter or Jacoby Wright at the point guard position. We'll see what the post position looks like as they contend. Look, you can't for certain say that they're done with transfers. There's nobody. I don't know if today brings another transfer, or we're still waiting on AJ Lawson. We talk about 6 guys bolting out of the program or testing the waters, but you still got AJ Lawson out there, who we all expect to go to the NBA, or at least put his name definitely in the NBA draft. So that would be a 7th. But you do have, if you look at it that way and you say, hey, Couisnard and Bryant come back, you have seen them play quality minutes and be a contributor and be an SEC type player. Now, can a freshman come in at the point guard position? Chico Carter, a transfer from Murray State, can he be the answer at the point guard position? There's a lot of questions to be asked there. But Patrick, I do think that those two guys, you talk about next season, and I'm not going to be a person that's going to give next season a pass just because of attrition and transfers. South Carolina's got to be 500 in conference. I think that's acceptable, more than acceptable. I think that's more than realistic.
How can we know though? I mean, we can't even name 5 guys that will definitely be on the team next year.
Well, no, and that's what I'm saying though is we're all kind of looking out toward the future and
Jacoby Wright and Devin Carter signed.
Yes, Jacoby Wright, Devin Carter, and Taquan Woodley have.
They're definitely going to be on the team next year. They are the 2 guys that you can guarantee will be on South Carolina next year.
3, yeah, there's 3.
3 guys, yeah.
And then we'll wait to see what Carlos Williams does, but he's the 4th guy, and Chico Carter. Now you can count on. You got 4. You got 4 right now that you can count on, and then we'll see what Carlos Williams does. So it is interesting. I know that there's a lot of people fired up about the basketball situation. It's something that we do have to continue to monitor and watch and see what Frank Martin can do. I continue to be, I don't know if fascinated is the right word to use, but the way that the Frank Martin, we had that phone call at the end of the first hour, the way this situation has been handled by the university, by the athletic department, certainly is not a good look, is certainly something that should have been resolved a lot quicker from just a stability standpoint. I think even if you had made the move with Frank Martin, you still would have, even if Frank Martin wasn't the coach, you'd still have all these transfers. And then you'd be in the job market and searching for a new coach. And I don't think that would have gone well for South Carolina at all. They would have gotten a new guy in, but I don't think it would have gone well. But I still think you would have had the attrition and the guys testing the NBA waters that you've had now. So I don't know if from a player standpoint things would change, but I think from a stability of a program standpoint and just trying to keep the fans unified, that it would have helped tremendously. We'll see if we get an announcement on Frank Martin and what they're going to do moving forward. Certainly there was an odd situation last week regarding Frank Martin doing an interview and that being postponed at the very last minute. So it's something that, baseball is ongoing right now. Spring football is ongoing right now. I think those are 2 topics probably people want to discuss more because the baseball team is performing well, even though they lost last night. The football program, when you get a new head coach, brings hope. But basketball is something that you have to continue to monitor. So
I have a question about the portal, though, because you mentioned Florida had 5 guys leaving, right? Patrick Texan said, look across the country, multitudes of portal transfers. UGA also has 5 leaving. We've talked about how testing the NBA waters is just a good idea for everybody. Like, it just makes sense for you. There's no reason not to. Are people going to start treating the transfer portal like that? Like, hey, we'll just enter the portal, see what's going on. Like, if you're a South Carolina player, I'll just enter the portal, see if there's another program that wants me. Maybe I'll flirt with the coaches a little bit, see if there's a good fit. Worst case, I'll just come back to my school. Like, especially with the name, image, likeness stuff coming up soon. Like, are guys just going to start doing, like, putting their name in the draft and in the transfer portal and just weighing all their options every single offseason? Is that just going to become a trend?
Well, you've got to have a coach that's willing to take you back. That's going to be a big
you're a good
part
player,
of it.
you're probably not concerned about that, right? Like,
I don't know. I mean, if you're a good player,
it's going to take a coach actually saying, like, if Keyshawn Bryant put his name in the transfer portal and Frank Martin would be recruiting him to come back, like, you need a player of that caliber back. A coach would have to be willing to say, screw it. If you decide to enter your name in the transfer portal, I'm not taking you back, no matter how good you are.
I think there will be coaches that do that because there are egos involved. And typically, let's be honest, if you enter your name in the transfer portal, you didn't have an A+ relationship with your coach to begin with. I mean, no player is like, hey man, I love you as a coach, but I'm gonna see what else is out there. There's probably an issue to begin with.
Unless you're going like if we look at the football program, Debo Williams or Jordan Strawn, like, they're just doing something better for themselves.
Right.
I don't think he had a bad relationship with whoever the Delaware coach is, but he has the opportunity to play SEC football. So,
and that would be totally different. And I got to admit that's going to be different. I think you've got Caden Rice, I believe, is the 6'7" forward from Citadel, who is looking around. I think South Carolina is involved with him. He shot the 3-pointer fairly well.
But to your point, if you're transferring from a
Yeah.
high major, a Power 5 school, then yeah.
Yeah,
that's
totally different. But we'll keep an eye on that. You're right. The men's basketball transfer portal has over 1,000 names in it, and it grows daily. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. South Carolina will field a roster next year, and it may be a bunch of transfers, but there are plenty of names out there that will help form a roster that are in the transfer portal. And Patrick, to your point, there are going to be players that have gone into this transfer portal, and then what's ended up happening is they realize they don't have a spot, and they're going to have to go down a level compared to what they thought they were going to do. They might have to go down 2 levels. It's going to be interesting. It's not how college athletics was set up to be when you look at football and basketball. So we'll continue on with that. We'll get into a little bit of the baseball. I see Jan weighing in. Certainly last night, tough loss for the Gamecocks, 3-2, neutral site game in Charlotte. I believe it's Truist Park. So I guess they just have Truist Parks all over the country now. But up in Charlotte, the Gamecocks fall in 10 innings. Wasn't a good performance. I get that. We'll talk about it a little bit. It wasn't a good performance, but let's not act like the sky is falling here with the Gamecock baseball team. They've got a chance to bounce back. We'll talk about a little baseball, a little Masters. We continue on. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
All right, Corley.
Yeah, we've pretty much skipped spring. I mean, it's spring is past. It's summertime. I think Craig hit me up on the live stream earlier and said it's going to be 87 in Augusta today. I was out shopping for boats yesterday. I mean, summer's here. So if you have your own personal pool in your backyard, it's probably time to make sure that thing is clean and ready to be used. My kids are on spring break. If we had a pool, they'd probably be using it this week. If you have a pool, I hope you're using it this week. And if you're not, it's time to call Corley Pool Solutions, 803-445-8109. They can take care and maintain your pool for cheaper than it costs you to actually go to the store, to go to the pool store, to buy the chemicals, to figure out how to put it all together, to do all the work that's associated with maintaining your pool. It is cheaper to allow Tracy Corley and his team to maintain your pool. They can do it for a flat monthly rate. Give them a phone call, 803-445-8109. Testing of chemicals, making sure that the skimmer cleaning is working, filter backwashing. You know it. There's a lot involved in taking care of a pool. Let's be honest. You've worked hard all week. Is that really what you want to spend your Saturday doing, is taking care of your pool? Let the professionals do it. Give Tracy Corley and his team a call. That's Corley Pool Solutions, 803-445-8109. I've never been up there. What is it? Is the Charlotte you guys are really fired up about this Darla Moore thing. Why, of course, Waddy, you might be just joining in, so but the Darla Moore thing, Patrick and I are two people with Darla Moore, like, all right, yeah, I got it. She's unhappy. Her mother passed away. And that is a joke. I do get the joke. Where is Darla Moore going to transfer to? It's just
I don't. It's baffling that people are turning on the sports radio station for the Darla Moore breakdown. Like,
yeah, Waddy, we've gotten a couple tweets. People are like, I mean, it's
like we've gotten tweets from Clemson fans like rubbing it in as if this is like some big victory for Clemson. Sorry, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. There's some people that are really geared up about it, though.
I mean, yeah, I get it. You want to keep $1 million donors happy for sure. I get why it's important, but we're a sports talk show, right?
It's a good point, Sonny. That's a good point. And
No, but like we don't talk about everything that has to do with the university.
Waddy, I think this is the only time I've ever heard of her donating to athletics. I think she paid for the helmets that South Carolina wore the year that Spurrier quit. I remember they wore those white helmets with the tail feather on them against Florida. I was told that basically they went to her and she wrote a check for those helmets. Now I don't know if that's true or not, but you are right. I don't think she.
They just know she loves that design, or what? Why is that the one thing?
I think they just needed money in a hurry. And
So they said this is the lady to go to.
yeah, I don't.
That's bizarre.
Her father was a Clemson football player?
Yeah, I read the article.
They were quite ugly. They were something, that was for sure. They were something. So yeah, that was I didn't even know we were wearing different helmets that game until like the second quarter. Somebody pointed out. I was like, oh, we had different helmets on.
The NFL needs to allow new helmets, second helmets.
You haven't really had time to get any audio from the players yesterday or anything.
No, I didn't even watch yesterday.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jan. It was a sticker. She bought the sticker.
Was there something good that came out of yesterday, or
No, not really. Just any audio to talk football. But we're all right. I mean, there was nothing. I don't think no coaches talked yesterday. I think they talked Monday. Jimmy Lindsey and Greg Atkins.
yeah, I saw that. I saw Sherrod Green talked yesterday. Brad Johnson, Keem Green. I thought Cam Smith talked yesterday too.
Yeah, he talked yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that kind of morning. We had so much content on Monday and Tuesday, loaded with content, and then Wednesday we got Darla Moore and by the way, our buddy is just our buddy on the text line
Yeah.
is just doing whatever he can to get us to respond. He must figure that
If he just watched the live stream, he would know. He would know that we do respond. We do see it, but
we do respond. He's probably subscribed. He probably watches. I don't know. He sent us that picture that one time. I think he works in a shop.
yeah.
I think he works in a shop. There's a guy that texts for the people that don't know on the live stream. There's a guy that sends text messages, and he's clearly a Clemson fan, but he's never once mentioned Clemson. Like, he's that Clemson fan that never talks about Clemson. He just talks about South Carolina. We never respond to him because it's just a bunch of awful text messages. It's just they don't make any sense. They're not very smart. It's not good text messages, even to respond to, even in a trolling sense. So we never respond. But he sent us a text message one morning of like wherever he worked, and I don't think he meant it to send to us.
No, he definitely didn't. He sent 7 texts yesterday, it looks like.
They all graduated, Jan. They all graduated. They moved on.
Why is nobody flooding us with draft questions on the phone and text lines? We'd have something to talk about then.
We need draft questions. We need draft questions. It's kind of a yeah. It's one of those mornings. It's
slow.
Well, it's just there's the Masters hadn't started, and it's a niche sport. There's not. I mean,
And you and I can't talk about one baseball game for 3 hours.
no. I'd be no.
All right. Back to it. You're up.
Halfway point of the Wednesday morning show. We're talking about it on the live stream. Again, you can go and join us on the live stream. Go to youtube.com, type in 1075 The Game, find the 1075 The Game channel. It's really the early game live stream. I don't think anybody else uses it. So you can come join us each and every morning. Check it. I got the hat backwards right now, which doesn't actually look very smart because the sun is in my face. Patrick's in the studio. I'm at my house. But you can join us. And Hope weighing in. She says, "Good morning, everyone. Happy Hump Day." Waddy is we're on the live stream. We're talking a little trash to the Clemson fans. We don't think there's any Clemson fans on there, so we're making a little fun of them. So you can come join us if you're a Gamecock. That's kind of our own little club. Waddy and
we need
Jan.
3 more subscribers. We're at 697. Please just subscribe. Please.
Yes, just do that.
Even if you're just driving around right now, stop, make a YouTube account, and subscribe to our page, please.
There you go. But
we want to rub it in Jen and Tim's face that we got us to 700.
You can get that. You can go join us there. If you want to join us via the text line or the phone line, 803-404-6100. But off air, we were kind of talking about it. It's weird. It's a weird Wednesday, just from the standpoint of the sporting world. Like, we had so much happen over the last 4 or 5 days. You had, especially for us locally, you had the women's Final Four game on Friday night. You had the Final Four taking place on Saturday with the great Gonzaga UCLA game. Sunday was Easter, so I'm sure a lot of you spent time with family and you had a great Easter lunch or dinner. The golf, the Valero Open over the weekend was really good. Again, the national championship game on Monday night, South Carolina baseball over the weekend. There was tons of content. There was tons of things to talk about. And then we end up getting into Tuesday. We were able to carry over from the national championship game. And today, it's kind of a countdown to the Masters. We're coming off of a loss last night by South Carolina baseball. A little bit of a downer on a Wednesday. We're kind of bottoming out, but a couple things for here on the live stream. Keegan weighs in, and I did see this, and I saw Aaron Rodgers' reaction, Patrick, and I like Aaron Rodgers. I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan. I like Aaron Rodgers' personality. I think Aaron Rodgers is setting himself up for a career that's not just going to be an announcing career after football, but the guy who trolled Aaron Rodgers and the Packers on Jeopardy. Did you see this?
Not really trolled Aaron Rodgers, trolled Matt LaFleur mostly, it seems like.
Yes, pretty much. He asked him what was the exact question?
It was the final Jeopardy where you just write down the answer, but he, I guess, wagered 0 and just wrote down who wanted to kick the field goal. Because if you remember, it was 4th and goal from, I think, like the 7 or 8 yard line, and they decided to kick a field goal and give Tom Brady the ball with 2 minutes left, and all he needed to do was kick a field goal to win the game. And one of the worst coaching decisions of, maybe not all time, that might be a little aggressive, but definitely the worst of last year.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. Aaron Rodgers was very good. Couple questions on the live stream. We'll get back into this. We discussed it. If you missed it yesterday, yeah, the Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers trade. As I put it when I saw it on Monday night, I didn't know what to make of it. And a couple of people weighing in. So let's have a little bit of a discussion back on this Sam Darnold to the Panthers, because that is clearly the direction that they're going to go in with their offense. And Patrick, you kind of got into it a little bit at what they could do at number 8, whether it's an offensive tackle, whether it's picking up another skill guy. I did see yesterday the Falcons are at least putting it out there that they're open to trading the number 4 pick. I guess if somebody is really looking to jump in and select a quarterback. Now that you've got Sam Darnold with the Panthers, and that appears to be the direction that they're going to go, how do you see the first 7 picks playing out? And then what did you make, let's get back into that a little bit, of Darnold going to the Panthers for those 3 draft picks?
The first 7 picks, I mean, 1, 2, and 3 do seem to be locked in now. Trevor Lawrence 1, obviously to Jaguars. Zach Wilson, obviously 2 to the Jets. And it just seems like Mac Jones is the guy now for the 49ers. The Falcons, though, I want to know what I assume we have some Falcons fans listening. If you are a Falcons fan, I want to know what they want, because they just gave Matt Ryan a huge extension. He's completely untradeable right now. I mean, it's just so much dead money to give up. Their choices are basically draft Justin Fields or Trey Lance and build. Already we're kicking him to the curb. So where was your head at last year when you signed Teddy Bridgewater is more my question for the Panthers.
I think
They committed to him so much more than they needed to. I mean,
not trying to
$6 million.
not trying to make a pun, but I feel like it was a bridge to what they wanted to do. I think you got Matt Rule, you got David Tepper. They're looking around. Look, for all the problems he's going through, Deshaun Watson is still going to be out there. Now, Patrick, I don't know if he's going to play this year because
I don't think he's going to play.
I mean, I don't know if the league's going to let him play. I mean, right now, the Deshaun Watson situation, you got the 2 women who were speaking out against him yesterday. This situation seems to be escalating by the week. When you say you don't think he's going to play, you think that's because the league is going to look at him and say not play, or that's because
it's going to end up being pretty ironic because he doesn't want to play for the Texans, obviously, but now his only chance to even get paid this year is probably going to end up being on the commissioner's exempt list and getting $10 million from the Texans to sit at home, deal with his legal issues, and not play football.
But he's going to be out there. He at some point, Deshaun Watson will be available, whether it's, say, if the Panthers down the road want to go that direction, or the Dolphins. It won't be this year, but I do think that that's interesting that he will be back in the league, and we know it's a league of second chances. And look, I'm not. This is not. I'm not trying to get on the path of what's going on legally with Deshaun Watson. I'm just talking about the NFL as a whole is a league of second chances. If you've got talent, they're usually going to give you a second chance. There's enough history of that happening. He'll get his chance again, and he may get it sooner than later. But it is interesting to see the Panthers. Sam Darnold's young, man. You brought it up. He's 23, and they can test the waters with him for a year or two. You can see what Joe Brady can do. Again, Joe Brady's supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. You get him. Now, I am interested to see at 8. You had the idea, the discussion yesterday, and it is the more sexy pick, right, to take a Kyle Pitts or a Jamar Chase, a big-time offensive weapon, as opposed to a left tackle to shore up your offensive line.
Well, yeah, and I am a fan of teams that, hey, we don't know what the deal is with our quarterback. Because there's so many quarterbacks, it seems, that are in the middle of is he a franchise quarterback? Do we need to move on from him? Is he going to be the guy? Like, if you just look in that division, Jameis Winston's kind of in that category. Like, is Jameis Winston a starting quarterback? Are the interceptions too much for us to deal with? Last year, the Broncos with Drew Lock, we don't know what to make of him. The Giants right now with Daniel Jones. And what are all these teams doing? The Broncos drafted 2 wide receivers in Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler to pair with Cortland Sutton and 2 tight ends that are studs. The Giants bring in Kenny Golladay, and they bring in Kyle Rudolph. And so I just think when you have a quarterback like that, like the Panthers now do with Sam Darnold, what you need to do is make sure that he has all the weapons possible and just keep eliminating potential excuses. With the Jets, you really don't know what to make of Sam Darnold because he had bad coaching, he had bad weapons, he had no offensive line, and never played 16 games. With the Panthers now, he does have a good coach. He's got Joe Brady, who most people think is probably one of the best offensive minds in all of football right now. You've got Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, and DJ Moore. If you can add a Kyle Pitts to that situation, a Jamar Chase, and make it 3 stud wide receivers, then you're just eliminating excuses. You'll give Sam Darnold the best possible situation for the next 2 years. And if you're unsure of him, you'll at least know. You can't have the excuse of, well, he didn't have any weapons or good coaching anymore. This is the perfect situation to find out exactly what Sam Darnold is and what he can be.
I think one other thing that's interesting here is where you give Joe Brady is such a hot name as an offensive coordinator. What grade do you give him? And I'm going to give you the comparison, so just give me the grade. But what grade do you give him for the Panthers offense, given the weapons, given Teddy Bridgewater? What grade do you give him for the Panthers offense in 2020? What do you give him last year?
Probably a solid B, because the problem was they didn't have any fourth quarter comebacks. Like every 1-score game that came down the fourth quarter, they just could not close it out. And also they were looking very good last year at the beginning, and then they lost Christian McCaffrey. And when you lose your best playmaker, it's kind of hard to do that, kind of hard to move forward. But I mean, Robbie Anderson played the best he's ever played. Joe Brady did a really good job making him look like a legitimate, like, multi-purpose receiver when all he was in New York was a deep threat. So, I mean, there wasn't a lot to work with from the offensive line perspective, but Mike Davis played really well. He made Mike Davis a lot of money, and I don't know, they just couldn't win 1-score games last year. So the record was actually worse than the quality of the team was. I think all Panthers fans think Joe Brady's a stud, and he got head coach interviews, so the rest of the league does too.
And the reason I bring that up is it's conceivable. It's actually conceivable because Trey hit us up and pointed this out. We had a couple people point this out yesterday. Joe Burrow is older than Sam Darnold. Now, I don't know what that necessarily means. Like, I don't know. That doesn't necessarily mean that Sam Darnold is going to progress and end up being like Joe Burrow. But it does tell you that Sam Darnold is a young guy. And Todd hits us up on the live stream and says, I'm so happy Sam Darnold finally made it to the NFL after spending 6 years in college. He is a young kid. He's got time to grow, but it's conceivable, and you probably will just say, no, it's factual, that the talent that Joe Brady had at LSU was greater than the talent he had for the Carolina Panthers offensively last year. When you talk about speed, when you talk about, just overall talent.
Yeah, I mean, potentially 3 first-round wide receivers on that team.
3 first and the number 1 pick at quarterback. And I say that because you add Sam Darnold, and if you go out in this draft, which is now you've completely lost your countdown, and you're within, what are we, 20 days? Are we 20 days from tomorrow? 21 days from tomorrow? 3 weeks from tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, you completely botched that on Twitter. But you got that first-round pick. And you can if you add an offensive weapon and you look at that division, you're setting up for all you're trying to do, if you're Matt Rule or David Tepper, is you're setting your team up for a window that's going to open in about, 2 years when Tom Brady and the Buccaneers go into complete rebuild mode?
Yeah, we think.
That's what's going to happen. And you look around, and the Saints are starting a rebuild. The Falcons are trying to figure out what they want to do, if they want to rebuild or if they're going to make one more push with Matt Ryan. The door is open there for the Panthers to set the table for a run in that division with this pick, in my opinion. And
really the only unfortunate part is if Joe Brady does turn Sam Darnold into the stud that Panthers fans are hoping, well, you're going to lose Joe Brady. Joe Brady's days are numbered in Carolina because he is probably 2 years max away from being a head coach in the NFL.
803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning. The Cool Care Heating and Air text line, the Love Chevy phone line as well. Anonymous texter says he's thinking the Panthers will draft O-line with their first pick in the draft, or a tight end. Didn't add or a tight end. Tight end, Kyle Pitts would certainly be a guy that could come in and give Sam Darnold a nice big target to throw to. The update on the YouTube subscriber. Hope lets us know the YouTube channel 1075 The Game. It's the early game, basically. The early game YouTube page. 705 subscribers on that. We appreciate everybody joining us on that. Yeah, come join us on the live stream. We make it entertaining. You can see our faces, you can see our smiles, you can see our grimaces when we get bad text messages or bad phone calls. You get it all. You can also join us and weigh in on that. Steven weighs in, and we're going to get back into the Masters here. Guys, the Masters scores will be higher this year. The course is firm and running very fast. We'll talk a little more Masters. We'll continue on some basketball and more of Patrick's NFL draft hot takes. You're listening to the early game on 1075 The Game. I agree, Steven. I was listening to them talk the interviews yesterday. It sounds like it's going to be fast down there. What are you doing?
When you talk about how many YouTube subscribers you had, it sounded like a kid who just started it, like you had.
Come here.
750.
Say hello to everybody.
Hi.
Say good morning.
Morning.
Yep, he's got his pajamas on. Heading to the beach today. I know that sun's bright, isn't it? You gonna be okay?
Maybe.
Got hair all over you. So we need a haircut.
Yeah.
We gotta get a haircut. Haircut. 1, 2 more, 3 more soccer games.
Yeah.
You going to play video games?
Facebook.
Huh?
Facebook.
All right. You want anything? Hey, do you want a banana? You want a banana? Yeah, he's adorable. We love him. Just needs a haircut. Needs a haircut. Greens had a lot of brown in him. Steven, I'll be out there Monday. I'll be out. I'm going to come play in the tournament. Joe Horn will be in town. J.C. Horn's father, Joe Horn, apparently is going to be out there at the country club on Monday playing in the tournament. We got time, Patrick. I'm going to get one more cup of coffee.
Yeah, go ahead. I got to run one of these spots for Tim.
Okay.
Now is a great time to get a handle on
Yeah, I think the coaches are going to be out there next week. I'm not 100% sure. I know they have that day off. All right. We will address the Darla Moore thing on air. My goodness. We got text messages. I guess we just got to address the Darla Moore thing.
We'll just bring it up.
Well, fine. We'll do the Darla Moore thing.
Todd, are you a Raiders fan? Because they need to take anyone on defense. I have them in a dream scenario getting Micah Parsons. They're at 17, and if Micah Parsons can fall, that would be awesome for the Raiders. Because he's definitely the most talented, probably defensive player in the draft, but there are going to be some issues. He was apparently at the center of that Penn State bullying thing. You heard about that, Bill? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
There's like a bullying scandal at Penn State or something. And apparently Micah Parsons was heavily involved in that in some way, shape, or form. So he might be dropping.
Uh-oh.
But he's so good. I would love to have him.
707. Is that Trey? 707. Yeah, Steven, the other staff,
Hope's a Raiders fan too.
Hope's a Raiders fan, yeah. Yeah, the other staff didn't get out there. I'm pretty sure Beamer and some of those guys will be out there. I don't think they're going to play. I don't know if they're going to play or not. I think there's a rebuilding of relationships that needs to happen, but I'll be out there at noon. We're coming to have a good time. I wouldn't say the team that I'm bringing is coming to be competitive. We're just coming to have a good time. Or the team that I'm on. I shouldn't say I'm bringing. I'm part of a team. Craig, it's the Lexington. I think it's Lexington County, but I know it's the Lexington Gamecock Club golf tournament. My father actually is heavily involved in it. I think they've got 28 or 29 teams. I know James Wolfe, who's up in Charlotte, is coming down, and he's bringing Tori Gurley, which should be entertaining because Tori Gurley and I had I would say less than nice conversation on Twitter a few years ago. So, Tori's a full foot taller than I am. So that should go.
It wasn't a few years ago.
It was 2 years ago, I think.
Oh, man. I was around for that.
Yeah. So he'll be there. Joe Horn will be there. Coaches should be there. Shane and I need to.
Back in like 20 seconds.
So we got, it'll be fun. It's good. They do a good job. They cook a bunch of food. It's a good little tournament. I've heard, yeah. Matt Curry keeps me in the loop on how the course is. Steven, I like the idea. This is for people that don't. If you've never played Lexington or never been out there, I grew up playing out there. They were telling me, Steven, that y'all.
We're coming back.
Redid the course. We're back. Tori loves to tell it how it is, how it should be. Tori and I disagreed on some things. That's for sure. Yes, sir. Huh? Yeah, you should be. Try not to make too much noise, though. Okay. (803-404-6100). How you can join us? Love Chevy phone lines or the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Of course, we are cutting up talking off air on the live stream. That's where we can have a little bit more fun. We can try to cut up a little bit more. We can also talk some serious stuff. We're talking a lot of golf off air and about some upcoming tournaments. But the Masters this coming week starts tomorrow, about 24 hours from now. 24 hours from now, the Masters will get going. 8 a.m. tomorrow morning is the first tee time. I'm looking right now. I'm watching the Golf Channel here at my house. Phil Mickelson, Tommy Fleetwood, and Scotty Scheffler, 1:12 tomorrow. So you got Mickelson going off as well. But it should be a lot of fun. Weather expected to be pretty good throughout the weekend. I think we have a little bit of rain in the forecast unless that changed dramatically overnight. Excuse me as I get a little frog in my throat there and do some professional radio. You guys have brought it up multiple. Patrick and I don't. I know that I don't know what we're supposed to talk about sometimes. It's been brought up multiple times on the text line. It's been brought up on the live stream, the Darla Moore thing with South Carolina. Look, I don't know. It's not a good look, obviously. Okay. Obviously it's not a good look. But what do you want us to say about it? I don't know all the ins and outs of what exactly happened. Patrick read the article.
Yeah.
I think once she donated she did something for the football team one time. I know it's the Darla Moore School of Business. I get it. I got it. People have asked us on Twitter, on the text. It's not a good look. What do you want us to say? Patrick, you want to weigh in on it at the end of the hour?
When someone donates 8 figures to your school, you want to keep them happy and make sure they feel the love at all times. And South Carolina did not do that last week, I guess, but it has nothing to do with sports. And Clemson fans, we have Clemson fans tweeting us rubbing it in our faces or something like it has anything to do with us or sports or South Carolina athletics or this radio program at all. But that's fine. South Carolina, do better. I don't know. Take it up with Darla Moore. Let's see where it goes. Her mother passed away. Condolences to Darla Moore and her family. We hope the relationship gets mended.
Yes, and I've got a feeling it will. We'll get more into NFL talk. Jess weighs in on some Carolina Panthers discussion on who they'll take. Rooster P weighing in on the text line as well. He's nominating Hope for head of recruiting at South Carolina.
Second.
Yeah, she's done a good job. We're up over 707 subscribers, doing a fantastic job there. So we're rolling along on a Wednesday morning, a little bit of a different Wednesday morning. We'll get you through hour number 3, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. here, talk a little Masters, Gamecock baseball last night, and we'll get back into that basketball discussion on South Carolina losing another player in the transfer portal. He's Patrick Perret. I'm Bill Gunner. You're listening to the early game, Wednesday morning on 107.5 The Game. If he's on there, Tracy Corley says he is now subscribed. We picked up another one.
Right.
I don't know what subscriber. I should tell him. I should ask him what subscriber number he was.
Yeah, 708. That's awesome. Shoot, let's get to 750 by Friday. That'll be good. 750 is a good looking number. All right, we did our duty. We talked about
Yeah,
about Carla Moore.
good. We got that covered. All right. I mean, it's not a sports topic. That's for all the people, everybody that's always like, stick to sports. And now this morning, they're like, no, talk politics. Oh, okay. Yes, I like. He was telling me about rerouting the course. It sounded neat. I'd have liked to play it the way y'all had it routed just one time to see what it was like. But yeah,
What does rerouting mean?
the course, the way Lexington is set up, I will say this. Thank you, Southern Outdoors. Oh, I know who that is. Oh, he was 708. He was 708. Okay, how about that? He's new name. They just should call him 708. The way Lexington is set up is actually really cool. Growing up, I could go play 5 holes. I would practice instead. I was never much of a go to the range and hit balls kind of guy. It just gets boring. And at Lexington, you could walk the first 5 holes and end up back at the clubhouse. So, I'd take hour and a half. And the way the course is set up, you just play. You can play. I could walk 5 holes in practice. You'd have 2 par 3s, 2 par 4s, and a par 5. And then you could also, technically, the way the course is set up, if you wanted the next day, you could play 6, 7, 8, 9 late in the afternoon and get just practice 4 holes instead of going to the thing. And then you can actually do 10, 11, 12, and play 8 and 9, so you can play another 5. So you could actually divide the course up and play 5 holes every day in practice, and it's really cool the way it's set up.
5 holes is about all I can play.
It was good exercise. Sonny, you're not a golf. You live in Myrtle Beach, don't you? If you live in Myrtle Beach, you have to be like a golf fan. I think you have to.
You know.
Pretty sure you do. Golf capital of the world.
Myrtle Beaches?
Yeah. Well,
I thought that was Jupiter, Florida.
Oh no. Myrtle Beach at one time had over 100 courses, 100 and some odd courses.
I thought every PGA golfer lives in Jupiter, Florida.
I think that's all the old golfers. I think that's where everybody goes to retire.
That's where Dustin lives, because they say from Jupiter, Florida, Dustin Johnson, when they announce him on the first tee box.
I think that's where what's his name or what's her name? Paulina wanted to live. I think she had full control of that. There's a bunch of articles coming out about him that are really good right now, about him being a dad and a family man, and some really good stuff. Jupiter. Wait, Bill, you're saying Jupiter for the old people or Jupiter for golf capital of the world? Why do they all live in Jupiter though? Because of the no state income tax? Is that the reason, or are we with Myrtle Beach being the golf capital of the world?
Well, it still gets chilly in Myrtle Beach in the winter.
It does, yeah.
So in Florida, I mean, there's really no time you can't play.
My son is going to come through Austin's playing basketball upstairs in my bedroom. I can hear it. No taxes. Yeah, that's, remember that was a big deal years ago when Grant Hill and Tracy McGrady were going to team up in Orlando. And then there was the big thing that everybody was going to go to Orlando because there was no taxes or no state income taxes or whatever.
They don't care about that anymore. Everybody just goes to New York and LA where they get taxed the most.
Yeah. It is what it is.
The two super teams are LA and Brooklyn. You pretty much can't get taxed more than that.
Yeah, there you go. Dirty Myrtle. God, I played so many courses down there. What was the one? Wild Wing? Was it Wild Wings that had like 4 18-hole courses, 72 holes? Todd, where do you live? Do you live in Columbia or do you live in Lexington or
Where'd you come from?
Here? Because we're talking about Lexington Country Club of Lexington is out here by me, 5 minutes from me. And I'm sure Steven can take care of you and you can get a round out there and go check it out. Beautiful course. Been around. They've done a great job. Sonny, it's a napping sport. I'll admit, golf to me is golf and baseball are similar. Moving to West Columbia next week. Oh, cool. Welcome.
What part of PA?
Oh, Patrick wants to get into PA discussion.
I don't know. Might be close to me. I will say that pretty much anything on Sunday afternoon is napping time because I always struggle to stay awake for football on Sunday. It's so hard to make it through the 1 p.m. slate without a nap.
See, I can go. I'll do a lot of sitting outside with a cigar this weekend in bourbon. I got to find a new. Jan sent me. I don't know if Jan's still on the live stream, but he sent me a text message early with a $2,300 bottle of bourbon, which is not what I'll be drinking this weekend. We'll find something. We'll find something to enjoy. Chad, let's see. I've grown up playing the Country Club of Lexington. I've played out there. I don't know since I've played out there for almost 30 years. I'll be 39 here in a month. I play Rock Lucas. I always loved Charwood. Rock's a good buddy of mine. Rock's fantastic. I always recommend Charwood to go and hang out there. It's a fun little course. When I was in college, I was a member at the University Club. I forget what it's called. I think it's Cobblestone now. But I was a member at the University Club a long time ago. Those are probably the three that I play the most around here. I did play Golden Hills in a tournament 2 weeks ago. Is that right, Patrick? Or last Monday. I played Golden Hills in a tournament. But yeah, I'd say the Country Club of Lexington, Charwood, and now Cobblestone is probably the three that I played the most around here. There's a lot of good Pappy Van Winkle. Yeah, Pappy Van Winkle's a good bourbon. I got a buddy who's got a collection. I say a buddy, he's a buddy of my dad's, but he's a friend of mine, an older guy. Had a poultry farm. He's got a huge collection of Pappy Van Winkle that's never been drank. We're questioning what he's doing with his collection of Pappy Van Winkle. Golf and bowling in the same bat. Oh, Sonny. Oh.
I might even be a better golfer than I am bowler, though.
Oh, I'm awful at bowling. I
just
ridiculously bad at bowling.
I can't roll it straight. I don't put my fingers in the thing anymore. I just palm the ball and just try and rip it as fast as I can. Because I'll just let go at the wrong time and just throw it upwards. I just can't do it. Bowling is hard.
Bowling is hard. We might go down that.
Yep.
Oh, line dancing into hour number 3, are we? Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, Jen Jensen, and Tim Hill. They'd had enough. They both went on vacation. Jen takes vacations. Tim doesn't. This is the first vacation for Tim in, we figured, at least 18, 19 months. I mean, last year he and his wife had their third child. Somebody hit us up that was funny about the Zero Res commercial about how his newborn, I say newborn, the child's almost a year old, how it's always doing something to the carpet. That's why he's always going to have Zero Res out there. But Tim on vacation this week. He'll be back next Monday. Jen is on vacation as well, hanging out with family, enjoying an extended Easter. So it's Patrick and myself getting you through here on a Wednesday morning. A little bit slower Wednesday just because last night you had South Carolina baseball, but everything had kind of died down, man. It had been a fun Easter kind of weekend. Again, we talked about, you had the women's Final Four going on. Obviously the women's team playing on Friday night. You had South Carolina, Georgia baseball going on. You had the men's Final Four, the great Gonzaga UCLA game. Sunday was Easter, and you also had opening weekend of Major League Baseball, which made it that much more entertaining. So there was so much going on. And then last night, things slowed down a little bit. South Carolina and North Carolina playing each other up there in Charlotte. Things not going very well for the Gamecocks. They lose 3-2 in 10 innings to move on. They'll get Missouri this weekend here in Columbia, South Carolina, to hopefully get back on the good foot and win another SEC series. If you want to join us this morning, 803-404-6100 is how you can do so. Again, we've mentioned the live stream multiple times. We're up to 710 subscribers. We'd love for you to come join us on that. We were cutting up off air. We'll get into a little bit of a discussion. The hardest sport for you to play. Now, I realize a lot of people listening are probably closer to my age. I'm 38. I'll be 39 here in about 4 weeks. Patrick, off air, we were debating with Sonny on the live stream, and he brought up bowling, and then that took us down a path of, I'm awful at bowling. I am not a good bowler. Like, I'm really bad. There are multiple young kids, 8, 9, 10 years old, that could just absolutely throttle me if I went down to the Lexington JC's bowling alley here in town. I don't go in. I stay away from bowling. Even when my kids have to go to bowling parties, I typically drop them off and just get out of there just in case. So 803-404-6100, my worst sport, and it's not close, is bowling. If you want to weigh in on what yours is, as we all add years to our life and become less athletic and become further removed from our glory days, is all great high school.
It's also one of those that it looks and seems like it should be easy. You can just roll the ball straight and knock down the pins. What's difficult? It's the same as golf. Like, you watch golf on TV, they make it look so easy. You're like, oh, okay, so you just take your stick and hit the ball, and then hit it straight. Just hit the ball straight. What's so hard about that? The hole's right there. The pin's right there. Just hit the ball straight and put it in the pin. What's so hard about that? And then you actually get a club and swing it, and you say, oh okay.
Yeah,
this sport's hard.
Yeah, it's I feel like, and if you're a good athlete, I agree with you. You feel like golf is something, the easiest thing in the world, and it's not. It's you. I'm with you. And bowling, the same thing. You're like, oh, how hard can this be? I don't know why they have the 3 holes in the bowling ball either, because it just makes it harder in my mind. I just take the lightest ball, like the 8-pound ball, and just palm it and just try and roll it as fast as I can. And the faster it goes down, the less likely it is to roll into the gutter. And I would play with walls if I could. Bumpers.
Yeah.
That's
but nobody that I've ever bowled with has allowed me to play with bumpers.
Well, that's because, again, you're not 7, 8, 9 years old at a birthday party with cake and all that. I'm pretty sure back in the day, the bumper, I'm with you. I'm not good at it. Again.
And the ramps don't work. I tried the ramp last time. I bowled for the first time in 5 years, maybe 3 weeks ago, and I brought out the ramp, and the ball still rolled into the gutter.
The ramp?
Yeah, you know the ramp that you pull up and you just drop the ball onto it, and it just rolls down?
No, I haven't been to a
Every
bowling
bowling alley has the
Yeah.
ramps.
So I'm unaware of this.
For the kids that can't actually roll the ball, you line it up and they just set the ball on top of it and push it down. And it's supposed to make the ball go straight, but it doesn't.
Our Southern outdoorsman on the live stream says soccer is his hardest sport. Yep, I can see where that would be very difficult. Richard weighs in. I'm with Richard on this. Look, I'm not trying to go out and be the world's best golfer. He says golf hands down is the hardest and most frustrating, but still somehow enjoyable. It's enjoyable because I've gone full like relaxed golf mode. I've got the speaker, I'm gonna have a cigar, there's gonna be beverages. Like I'm not out there trying to shoot the course record. I'm out there to have, if you're going to put me out on a golf course for 4 hours with preferably my friends, I'm going to have a good time. There's going to be music. We're going to have a good time. I'm not going to try and again, shoot the course record. I'll be dead honest. I've gotten to the point now where some of these Captain's Choice tournaments that I play in, I'm not even out there trying to win those things. We're just out there for a good time and to hang out and enjoy each other's company. So Jamie weighs in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Golf is like darts. It's not a sport, it's a skill. Darts is, do you play darts a good bit? You ever play?
No, not a good bit. No, I have played darts. I've thrown darts. I don't know how darts are played. I could not score a darts game. I don't know. I just know that you aim for the bullseye.
Anonymous texter says Gunner's out there trying to not even finish. There was a tournament several months ago. We made it through 15 holes. That was the end of the round for us. You are right. There are times that does happen. I like that. Look, again, course record, not in my. It's kind of like my weight at this point. I've gotten myself to a nice weight. I feel comfortable during the summer. But I've also given up on the modeling career. There are things in life as you get older that you just realize aren't going to happen. That would be one of them. 803, huh?
If Trey suggested this now that we're talking about golf, I mean, they said that the ramps are the most emasculated. Playing with bumpers is the most emasculating thing you can do over the age of 8. And then Trey suggested we do a live stream from a bowling alley. That would be a very fun live stream.
Well,
I think if anybody knows or owns a bowling alley and you want to open it up at 6 a.m., and let us live stream, just put the camera at the edge of the alley and we can just watch it. I can't imagine Tim's a good bowler either, right?
I don't know. Tim's weird. Tim's wildly athletic for what you would think. Like he did play college baseball. He's a good basketball player. I've played with him. I mean, he's got 3 kids. He's had 2. He added a third. You have to be dedicated to golf, but Tim's not a bad golfer either. Like Tim's actually. I know some people look at him like, that guy, I don't think so. I mean, they look at me, probably think the same thing because I'm 5'6", and you know,
everybody knows I'm a good athlete just looking at me though.
Yeah, we all know that you are the athlete of the
right. Yeah.
of the show. We do need to address, if you're listening and we're cutting in and out on the radio stream. Yes, we know it happened as Patrick pointed out at 4:28 on Monday. There's a technical issue. They are working to get it fixed. Hopefully it'll be fixed today. We appreciate you bearing with us here on 107.5 The End there. We are aware, a couple people have hit us up on the text line. Yeah. We are aware that there is an issue and it's cutting in and out. They have fixed it to the point that at least we're able to be on air. Our engineers working very hard on it to get it fixed. And so we do understand that's going on.
Over the regular radio. If you have the capability of popping on the app or the website, everything is completely fine on there. So
right.
If you're able to do that, do so. If you're in your car and you can't do that, we apologize. It'll be better tomorrow. Hopefully,
we are hoping. They are working to get it fixed. So we do understand that. A couple people have hit us up on the on the text line, and we do apologize for that. They are working very, very hard to get that fixed, and it's just something that's a little out of our control. But we'll have it fixed. So we do understand that is happening. If you're listening out there and you hear us cutting in and out, we apologize. 803-404-6100, how you can join us this morning. Again, kind of the news. It was a slower day yesterday. That's why we were kind of cutting up there for about the first 10 minutes of this segment. But slower day yesterday. South Carolina, again, losing last night 3-2 to North Carolina. Not a ton of other news. The Washington Nationals, if you want to go down this path, extend the Atlanta Braves losing streak. The Braves now 0-4 on the season. At some point, and as Patrick pointed out, they play a doubleheader today. The Nationals, last night was their first game. Max Scherzer was on the mound for them. Patrick, you said they were without 5 guys because of COVID protocol or positive tests. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was on the flight back from spring training back to DC, and I think 1 or 2 guys tested positive, but then there were a bunch of close contacts. So we don't even know which players actually were the ones that tested positive or the close contacts, but they had to pull a bunch of guys up from the minors and sign a catcher off the streets yesterday. And yeah, they're working it out. I don't know what the MLB protocols are or when they'll be back, but I mean, doubleheader today, the Braves are pretty much at full strength. If you're a Braves fan and you don't take both today, you're concerned.
Well, you've got to win one. It's a long season, and there are a lot of Braves fans out there, and the Braves have certainly have high expectations. And starting 0-6 is not the way to go about doing that when you have high expectations. The NL East is going to be extremely difficult. Look, there's no shame in losing to the Nationals. It's just a matter of right now starting 0-6, not the way to do it. The Braves and Nationals first game, Max Fried versus Eric Fetty, will be at 12:05 p.m. The second game will be obviously following that one. I think, and let me confirm this, Patrick, Tim did do a little bit of work this week and sent out an email. I believe we'll have both of those games on our sister station, WISW. So yeah, you can listen coming up here today, WISW. This morning, the Braves and the Nationals, again, 12:05. You can hear that on our sister station.
Yeah, it looks like 11 a.m. the broadcast will be starting. So
we got that. Also, just a programming note, tomorrow night, Carolina Calls, Mark Kingston will be on. So you got a couple things. And we will have some Masters updates throughout the weekend as well. Masters getting going less than 24 hours from now. So you've got that as well. So you got a little Braves talk if you want to get into that. I know a lot of you are Braves fans. 0-4 to start the season. Again, doubleheader today against the Nationals. They've got to win one of those. You just don't want to start 0-6.
That was brutal.
You can't start 0-6 and have high expectations. Hope saying I'm concerned now being 0-4. It is crazy. The Braves, again, supposed to be a very good team. We'll see kind of how things develop for them as we move through the season. Again, the other part of that is as I completely lose my train of thought on the Masters. So you got the Braves and the Masters we can get into this hour. Also, news from yesterday, Justin Minaya. Patrick, you sounded when we mentioned him, he's entered his name in the transfer portal. He is looking, he's also entered his name in the NBA draft. I think that's more of for purposes of getting feedback on what he needs to work on and develop. I mean, look, there's no harm, regardless of whether you're the 13th guy on the bench or the team's leading scorer. There's nothing wrong with entering your name in the NBA draft and just seeing what happens. You can always pull it back out. I expect him to do that. But Justin Minaya has entered his name in the transfer portal. When I brought this up earlier, you seemed a little more surprised with him than maybe some of the other players.
Yeah, just because, I don't know, he is a fourth-year player. I mean, he's a redshirt junior. It does seem like he was a frank guy. I don't know what surprises me more, the draft or the transfer portal for him. I think the fact that he entered his name into both means that he probably will end up transferring because there's obviously no way he's going to get any good news from the NBA. But if he had just said, yeah, I'm entering my name into the NBA draft, I would have said, okay, that means he's probably gotten his degree. He's done with college and ready to just move on to the next stage of his life. I assume he's gotten his degree. I haven't seen that. I don't know that for sure, but he's been there for 4 years, and that would be the timeline. So, I mean, yeah, he can't score, so he's not going to be an NBA player. But I wouldn't have been surprised if he just said, yeah, I'm going to get ready to go overseas and do whatever. But I mean, we were talking in the last hour. You said all these guys that don't realize how many other transfers there are or how few spots are available. I would be just blown away if Justin Minaya ends up at a Power 5 school next year and after entering the transfer portal.
You know what? Here's the thing. If you understand your role, if he understands his role, I think he could go to a Power 5 team.
But
and Power 5 is such a weird term for basketball because, like, if you said Jair Bolden was going to end up at Butler's in a high major conference. Butler's a high major conference. The Big East is a high major conference.
Yeah, it's basically Power 6 for college basketball.
So we say that because if you watch Jair Bolden play for South Carolina, what have you said? Hey, he's definitely going to end up at a high major conference. Probably not, but he goes to Butler. They did have a losing season. He was one of their better players. I think from Mania is a great glue guy. He's going to rebound. He can handle the ball a little bit. He can knock down some shots. He's kind of one of those guys who he doesn't do anything great, but he doesn't really do anything either that hurts you. He's kind of there, and he helps. He rebounds. Again, he can knock down some shots. He can get inside and play a little bit. You are right. If he goes down a level, he, because of his size, he ends up being a stretch 4, and the way he plays would be a mismatch at, say, the Southern Conference or maybe even the Colonial, something like that. I think he would be a really good player, Patrick. He would be a starter, and I think he'd have a chance to really have a good season. I don't know if it'd help him with professional prospects there. I don't, maybe go overseas. I'm not surprised that he entered the NBA draft because, again, there's no harm in that. Like, there is – I would encourage every college player to enter the NBA draft. Who knows what's going to happen? You get one workout, you impress one team, something happens. Who cares? You can always, as long as you don't sign with an agent, you can always pull your name right back out of the draft. It doesn't matter. The transfer portal, I'd heard rumors that he may be looking to do that. He does have his degree. I think a lot of people right now just feel that there are players around the South Carolina program that it's just time to split, to break the marriage between Frank Martin and some of these players, and we're seeing some of that. Now, again, I think the interesting thing with basketball, if you want to talk about next year, you're keeping an eye on Jermaine Couisnard and Keyshawn Bryant, because if they elect to come back and play for Frank Martin next year, it does change. It changes my perception of the basketball team for just next year and what I would expect from them.
Are you operating as if they're not going to? Because there's no way either of them get drafted. Neither of them are NBA players right now. Nothing against those two guys, but they're not NBA players. Keyshawn Bryant is not a shooter, which you need to be to play in the NBA, and Couisnard regressed substantially in year 2. So
I guess I've been around enough players at that level that what you and I think is irrelevant. It's what maybe their AAU coach thinks or what a buddy of theirs thinks. Somebody gets in their ear and it's like, oh man, all you need is an opportunity. You just need somebody to give you an opportunity to have a tryout. And if you can just stick it out, and yeah, you might not get drafted, but man, you can get in that G League. I don't think kids realize how much.
I think you have to be at peace with Europe. Like, I think that's what they would have to be at peace with if they do say I'm going pro.
And some of these guys, they played AAU with buddies, and they're buddies, or the guys have come back from Europe, and they've seen the money that they've made, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot.
Maybe they're talking to Mike Kotsar and saying, he's saying, yeah, this German league is pretty nice. And I mean, that's not a terrible decision. If that actually is their plan, like, go make money playing basketball instead of playing for free at South Carolina. I mean, it's not the worst thing, but if their plan is I'm going to go to the NBA next year, I mean, it's just simply not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But that is something to keep an eye on with the basketball program, because I've seen it, and I think most of you would agree. You don't have to like seeing it, or you don't have to agree that Frank Martin is the right guy for the program, but you have seen Bryant and Couisnard show the ability to be SEC players, to contribute at the SEC level, and then we'll see what the post position looks like. Right now, Chico Carter, transfer from Murray State, coming in. Jacoby Wright, a top 150 prospect from the state of South Carolina, coming in to play the point guard position. There are pieces there. We'll see how it continues to evolve and change for South Carolina basketball. We are under the assumption, much like it sounds like you're under the assumption. It sounds like you think, if I'm listening to you correctly, you think Bryant and Couisnard will be back at South Carolina next year. Am I?
That would be my guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If you're operating under that assumption, you're also operating under the assumption that AJ Lawson will not be. That we've seen 6 guys at least declare that they're either going to go to the NBA or they're going to declare for the draft, or they're going to transfer. AJ Lawson's not one of those 6, and you feel like he's definitely going to declare for the NBA, if not put his name in the portal as well.
Maybe, but he also might just be at the point where his stock hasn't really changed in 3 years here. What's one more year? Go ahead and get my degree, graduate, and if nothing else, I'm a 4-year player. Climb the record books a little bit, get my degree, whatnot. I don't know what the benefit would be. He's also, I don't think, going to get drafted if he goes to the NBA. So, I mean, I think he's definitely a G League player, though. So if that's his plan, then sure.
It is,
But-
as you say it out loud, and I think most people are realistic. These are not NBA players. You assume that AJ Lawson's going to go pro. You assume it. I wonder, because they did that collection of players, Lawson, Bryant, Cousineau. Let's say all three. Let's hypothetically say all three come back. I think it's extremely unlikely. But let's just, for a second, you did see them go 18-13 2 years ago and have a winning SEC record. They had some disappointing losses. I totally understand that. Stetson was an awful loss. They lost at Vanderbilt at the very end of the year when the NCAA tournament was on the line. Awful loss. I'm not defending the losses, but you did see them have success. You also this year saw them, that group, those three guys, be a major part of a team that went 6-15. So I get it that you're down now, but does it are people still way down on the basketball program if all three come back because of what you saw this year? Is everybody still hammering the basketball program and calling it a dumpster fire and saying that Frank Martin can't get it done if all three come back? If two of them come back, are you more open to saying that? I think it's interesting when you talk about the makeup of the roster and what you brought up earlier, that we really have no clue right now what this basketball team will look like in June, let alone September.
I do think if all three come back, it changes the expectation level. Because if you lose all three, people are going to go into the next season saying, this team has to earn my eyes. I'm not even going to watch this team unless they win a couple games and show that they're decent, because you're just not going to know any of the names. You're going to probably end up with a team with 4 or 5 transfers from low-level schools that you've never heard of, and expectations will just be so low. If all three of those guys come back, people might not be happy. They might not expect to be a top 5 in the SEC team or anything like that, but they'll at least say, okay, we have something to work with, some guys I recognize, some guys that have played really good basketball, and potentially this team, if things go well in a normal season, we can make some hay. It's just without all three of those guys, you're hard pressed to find something to be optimistic about.
803-404-6100. How you can weigh in if you want to talk about the men's basketball program and answer some of the things that we just discussed. 803-404-6100. Again, you can always join us on the live stream. Just go to the youtube.com website, search for 107.5 The Game. You'll be able to find our page and you can subscribe. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
All right, Triple A.
Oh, I've already told you that summer is basically here. You know that if you live in Columbia, if you live in South Carolina, we basically skip straight from basically winter right to summer. There is about a 7-day period that you get spring, and that's it. But we're heading to summer. So I've told you to have your pool ready. Now I got to make sure you know that your heating and air, especially your air conditioner, is working. Temperatures are going to be on the rise. You need to give AAA Heating and Air a call today. Roy and Dana are there to help you. I'm telling you, the thing that stands out to me about AAA Heating and Air is they treat me like family. I've gotten in touch with them multiple times. They come out. They take care of me. I'm one of the family. They're going to treat you like family. It's a family-run business. And let's be honest, any family-run business is somebody you can really believe in and trust. Give AAA Heating and Air a call today, 803-677-1500. Now, here's the important part. They come out, they check out your heating and air unit. We know it's going to be hot this summer. Your air conditioner's got an issue with it. You got to get a new one. Man, that's an uncomfortable feeling. That's going to be a lot of money, right? No, AAA Heating and Air will pay you to take your heating and air unit away. That's right, $1,500 savings to take your old unit away. They'll give you 0% financing and no money down on a new unit. They'll take care of you. That's what a great family-run business does. That's why I trust Roy and Dana with AAA Heating and Air. Give them a call today, 803-677-1500. That phone number again, 803-677-1500. Give AAA Heating and Air a call today and tell them Bill Gunner sent you. I don't know how many people are listening or on the live stream. It sounds like the radio's really bad today. Sounds like it's really good. Yeah, I hope you got to remember those spam bots will jump in there since we've been promoting it on Twitter, and sometimes they'll do that thing that cleans it out. I'm sitting here. I got a rash of text messages on my phone that came in. Patrick, I was saying I'm getting some text messages. It sounds like it's the radio feed is really bad today.
Well, that sucks. I guess I can tell Ed. Yeah, I don't know. That's no bueno.
Yeah, it sounds like hopefully you can get it fixed. Yeah, it's all right. We're at 708. Little 2 subscribers. Might have been some Clemson fans. Hope you got to remember, we're not for everybody. Our show's not built for everybody. We're not your typical sports talk radio show. We don't try to be. Man, everything like died in that segment. There was no text messages and everybody disappeared on the live stream. I was like, oh my goodness.
They're over basketball.
I think you're right.
I like having the control view though. I can see how many viewers we have. 36 right now.
On the YouTube?
It breaks it down for all of them.
What's the breakdown?
23, 10, and 3. YouTube, Facebook, Periscope / Twitter.
Twitter 3. Yeah, that makes sense. So 23 on YouTube. That's not bad. We're getting there. It's
That's a lot.
What we gotta do is when Tim and them come back next week, we all including all the people on the live stream, we gotta figure out some like little things. The weather's changing. I can get outside a little bit. Come up with some little things to do here to make the live stream more entertaining than just us just sitting here.
All 4 of us need to find one just random household item to give away once we hit 1,000. I'll give away my stuffed giraffe when we get to 1,000.
Well, you got now. Not that you want to give it away. We got to think next week. You go back. We get the whiteboard back involved. Everything.
I'll donate a lacrosse stick to one subscriber when we hit 1,000.
We got we got to figure some things out here with the live stream. Maybe change up some stuff. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Got to stay fresh. We got to stay fresh. Maybe people are just not tuning in at this point because we're not talking about Darla Moore. They're just listening for a minute, like, these guys aren't.
I took a call.
They're not talking Darla Moore.
I took a call when you were doing it.
This is boring radio. I'm turning it. By the way, Patrick does keep freezing up on the live stream, but that's also because we got an issue with the internet in the studio. And Tim's always the one hosting the live stream at his house. So it's entertaining this week. That's for sure.
Yeah. I took a call when you were doing your AAA of somebody's like, where can I find this Darla Moore article? It's like,
Yeah.
Google the words Darla Moore. And
Yeah. The internet. You can find it on the internet.
You see. All right, we're coming back.
Coming back.
No, Sonny, you didn't chime in. We thought everyone just dropped out.
You're not a nobody. You're not a nobody.
You're up.
803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning, Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, getting you through the 8 a.m. hour here, 8:35, your official 107.5 The Game time. Masters Week, less than 24 hours away from the first tee time. I'm excited about it. We had some, if you still want to weigh in, your pick to win and what the score will be. Steven was hitting us up on the live stream, Patrick. We were talking about the course. It is running fast this week. The greens are very firm right now. A lot of people are expecting the scores to be extremely low. I haven't really heard, I'll be honest, we talked about it in the first hour a little bit. I haven't heard much from course personnel management. I don't know whatever you want to call them. I've heard the players talk about how difficult the course is playing right now, and that's certainly something that is going to be entertaining to watch. I would love a Masters that is around 2 or 3 under par. That it's difficult. That everything is difficult to come by. You know, you got Bryson DeChambeau talking about he's just going to go out there and smash the ball and get as close to the green for his second shot as he's going to be, or as he possibly can. DJ overpowered the course last November. I'm excited to see him. I think it's going to be a really good tournament. You've got a lot of names that could go out and perform very well. Obviously, Jordan Spieth is playing at a very high level right now, but Rory McIlroy is a guy who I think could surprise people. He struggled, but he could surprise people. We know what DJ is capable of doing. DeChambeau is going to probably win a Masters at some point. Is this the one? So I think it's going to be fun. Now, let me
Do you
say
know
that.
what the over-under is for the winning score? Because they usually handicap that thing on sports books.
I don't.
I was looking for it. I didn't see anything.
I think
A lot of people are saying like minus, like somewhere between like 4 and 10. I think.
that seems fair. That's about 4 and 10. Like Steven hits us back up on the live stream and says DJ 11 under. That seems high given what I'm hearing about the tournament, how everything's playing, or how the course is playing. I mean, look, as I said in the opening hour, I don't know with the Masters if you have to have a love for golf. If you grow up in Columbia, you hear about it every April. Obviously, most years you have people that stay in Columbia that eat at the restaurants up here and then commute down to Augusta to go and watch the tournament during the day and then come back. It's kind of the part. And so you get, whether you like golf or not, on this particular weekend, and this weekend in particular, most years, not every year, but most years has also coincided with the South Carolina Spring Game. So you got people coming to town for that, and a mix of people that are coming to Augusta and going to the golf tournament, a mix of people maybe who are coming to see some free football, to see what the next great South Carolina recruit looks like or whatever it may be, and they come and they hang out. And so whether you like golf or not, I think you get some of that influence on this particular weekend, and it draws you just to the Masters, not to any other tournament, not necessarily to the sport, but it draws you to the Masters and the course and the prestige of Augusta National a little bit. And that's what makes it a fun tournament. And I think it's more entertaining when we have lower scores and a difficult course, and when the course is playing extremely fast.
It's one of those. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that most casual fans care about how the course is playing. They just care that it's close on Sunday and there's a reason for you to watch the final group, because like I don't do people really care if the last group is at like 18 under par versus 3 under par, if it's a one stroke deal and hole 18 is going to matter and you got to make birdie on hole 18 to win the Masters? I don't think people really care, right? Like, will you be more bummed out if they're just destroying the course?
Me personally,
Yeah.
given what I like to watch, yes,
I just
but
like to watch intense shots. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see somebody lining it up for a putt that they have to make, rather than just. I mean, DJ was not sweating at all on Sunday in November.
Yeah, no, and in a perfect world, I think, and we brought this up yesterday. Who would you like to see coming down the stretch? What 2 guys or what 3 guys would you like to see battling it out? I'm with you. Unless it's like Phil Mickelson strolling the back 9 with a 4 or 5 stroke lead, which even Phil is very capable of blowing. But unless it's Phil Mickelson basically taking a victory lap around Augusta, and that's about the only guy, to be honest. For me personally, I don't want to speak for everybody, but if Mickelson is up 4 or 5 strokes, 6 strokes on Sunday, and it's essentially a victory lap and a celebration of his career, and almost kind of like it was with Tiger, a send-off, I'm okay with that. That I can live with Phil Mickelson. Otherwise, I totally am with you. And Todd and Mark both agree with me on the live stream. Yeah, I want it to be a low-scoring affair. I want as many people involved as possible. I want to see Rory. I want to see DJ. I want to see it coming down with guys having to hit shots and make birdies to win on a difficult course. And I do prefer it to be a low-scoring or a closer to even par tournament, because it just makes it a little bit more fun. I like to see, look.
I like seeing guys come unraveled more than anything, really.
We like seeing, I think, anything in life when you talk about professional athletes. We like seeing the professional athlete that makes us feel better about ourselves. We like seeing the NBA player
who Bryson score a 10 and eliminate himself on one hole.
You love seeing that. You love seeing an NBA player shoot an air ball at the foul line because you're like, I can do that. You like seeing the batter in baseball. I watched Giancarlo Stanton the other day swing and miss on a pitch, and it looked like me. The swing was so bad. Like he guessed so poorly, or just was so bad on that one pitch against the Blue Jays. And so, we like seeing things like that. And so when you see guys making bogeys in golf and backing up a little bit, you go, oh, I did that. I can go out to the Country Club of Lexington. I can go out to Charwood. I can go out to Cobblestone. I can make bogeys. Looks like me out there. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for the tournament. I think when you have the field as wide open as it is, when you don't have a clear cut. Now, Patrick pointed out earlier, Dustin Johnson is the favorite. Jordan Spieth is right behind him. But when you don't have a clear-cut favorite, I don't think there is this year, it makes for a far more entertaining and interesting tournament. And I think that's what we're going to get. Again, the weather report on this thing looks really good. There may be some rain that creeps in here over the next few days. We'll have to kind of keep an eye on that. But right now, tomorrow, 81, 0% chance of rain. Again, some rain maybe on Friday and Saturday. We'll see. But temperatures are expected in the low 80s, the high 70s. It should be a really good weekend, both for the Masters and then also for some baseball here in Columbia between the Gamecocks and the Missouri Tigers. Hot take. Okay.
Not really hot take.
Not hot take. We're running out of steam here. Running out of steam. That's golf. Got to get to that. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show. We'll put everything in a neat little bow, and we'll all get out of here. Again, you're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Clear.
Oh, you got a phone call. I don't know. I didn't know people still call the radio station. What do you mean? What's going on with Deshaun? Is there something new, or is there another Deshaun? We did hit on that one a little bit earlier. I don't really remember why we hit on Deshaun Watson.
Talk about Darnold and the Panthers quarterback.
Oh yeah, just the fact that Watson, 2 women who filed suits. First, Watson speaks out. I wonder how long that thing's going to drag out, to be honest.
Sonny, this is the first I've seen you try to promote a spring game, cornhole tournament spring game. They were not paying attention.
Yeah, I haven't called that. I do like the idea of the cornhole tournament at the spring game.
Proceeds just go towards Patrick's student loans.
Oh, there you go. Student loans.
I don't need a video board. I just need that can be my pay for this show.
That can help. Not really. There's not really anything that's the latest on Deshaun. Nothing major. I think. I mean, I guess the 2 women did publicly speak yesterday.
Well, it's now officially a criminal investigation.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I missed that. I missed that little nugget.
Yeah,
there's probably a lot of things I would say not in a public like this setting that it's not the place for that conversation, I would say.
What?
For the Deshaun Watson conversation.
Oh.
I feel like there's a lot of things going on. Right now they are letting him play. Yes, he is. I mean, Patrick doesn't think he's going to play. He thinks the NFL is going to put him on, what'd you say, the exempt list?
Yeah, commissioner's exempt list. I'd say I'd be shocked if he's playing football next year at this point.
But that's because of the commissioner, not because of his own decision.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got serious issues right now.
He does. Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that.
One of the women, separate from this like hotshot lawyer Tony Busby, has filed charges, and the Houston Police Department's investigating. So I don't know.
We will see.
He has officially lost the PR battle, though.
Yeah,
did you see the thing last week? Last week he came out with like however many massage therapists that said, "Hey, I give Deshaun Watson a massage and everything was above board," and it was like a dozen or 18 people or something like that, and the overwhelming response was just, "Why do you have 40 plus massage therapists?"
I wonder, and that's why I was saying there's certain things that I don't want to like push the envelope on this conversation, but I don't understand. I'll admit I've never had a massage. Other
NFL players said that too. Like some guys were like, I played in the NFL for 15 years, and I didn't have anywhere close to the number of massage therapists Deshaun has had. He's been flying people in, and he's been in the league for 3 years.
Well, and that's the other thing. Why are you flying people in? Like I said, I've never had a massage. I've never a professional massage. I've never had a professional massage. We had that girl, I think it was Jennifer was her name, that was at the Lawyer Lisa stuff when we were out on Fridays. And then you get the little thing at the golf.
The teams have massage therapists. Like, it's not something you need to leave the facility for either.
I'm with you. I don't like how many. Why are you flying random people? I feel like that's something, especially as a professional athlete, that's one thing. Like, you find a person that you trust.
Yeah, exactly.
And it does a good job, and that's part of like maintaining your body to.
Yeah.
All right, we went down a path there. It's part of the live stream.
All right, you're up.
Wrapping up the Wednesday episode of the early game. Dan Patrick up next, 12-1. Pearson and Preston will get you through, and then you got Jay and Pearson from 1 to 4. Heath Klein from 4 to 7. Again, we apologize. We understand that if you're listening via the radio, so I've gotten a couple friends that have texted me and are letting me know. We've had some text messages on the line. We understand that they are that there is some issues with the radio broadcast. If you can today, it's a lot easier to listen via the internet or however, or the TuneIn app, one of the apps. Certainly is a lot easier to do. We expect, or we're hoping to have this fixed tomorrow. We know it's been cutting in and out. We'll kind of see what happens with that, but we do apologize for that. But we do know that there are some issues, and they are working hard to have that fixed. Our engineer's working very hard, and we appreciate his effort to try and get everything taken care of. If you want to weigh in here in the final 4 or 5 minutes, 803-404-6100 is how you can do so. Again, most of the talk today, South Carolina baseball last night dropping a 3-2 decision to North Carolina. Patrick, we were not going to spend 3 hours discussing the baseball game, but it's baseball. These things happen. The best team doesn't always win. South Carolina is the better team this year than North Carolina. They were not the better team last night. That's when it matters. But they've got a chance to bounce back against Missouri this weekend. I do think you make a great point, and people disagreed with you on Monday, but your point was validated last night. If you had won the first 2 games of the Georgia series and lost the Sunday game and won the series 2-1, and then followed that up with a Tuesday night loss to North Carolina, fans would be overreacting even more this morning on a 2-game losing streak.
It's just an overreactionary sport. And I mean, you can be upset about last night. You were not effective on offense. You only had 3 hits in the whole game. And I mean, you're 19-8 right now, but you've only won 3 games on the road all year. Maybe that's a little concerning, but kind of irrelevant for this weekend. You got Missouri at home. If you sweep them, I think people are feeling pretty good going into next week. That's just take care of business this weekend. It's not a big deal. There's no reason to freak out. Put it behind you. The midweek games have been a little bit of a bugaboo, so just what are you going to do?
Yeah, and again, we'll know more, I think, in the coming days about what we discussed a little yesterday. The NCAA expected to have predetermined regional and super regional sites. I read a little bit more on that yesterday, and it's kind of interesting. It sounds like you're going to have your 8 super regional sites, and you're going to have your, however they're going to do it. But man, like hypothetically, I'm going to use. I was reading, it was an article out of from Mississippi State yesterday, and they were kind of breaking it down, saying, Mississippi State technically they would be expected, because right now they're a top 5 team, to host a super regional. They'll make a bid for the super regional and the regional. Well, if they were to get eliminated in the regional, hypothetically, the ballpark, Dudley Field, I think that's Dudley Noble Field there at Mississippi State, would still host the super regional. So South Carolina, because of the size of the ballpark, because of maybe some of the amenities around, because of where Columbia is, maybe being able to host a regional and a super regional. If South Carolina were to lose in the regional, the ballpark would still host a super regional, which would be interesting. But we'll keep an eye on that, because it does change a little bit. Those midweek games, they're big. They're big to hosting a super regional. They're big to hosting those regionals. And is it Duddy? What if Bill Morgan's telling me it's Duddy? I don't. Whatever Mississippi State's baseball field is, you get the point. But the bottom line is, you've got to win those midweek games for hosting purposes. I don't know if that changes a little bit now with the way the NCAA is going to go about assigning regionals and super regionals. But you are right. In terms of postseason play, big weekend, win another SEC series. That's the big deal right there. Win another SEC series. You add your 3rd series victory out of 4 tries. I think that's a good start, especially given the schedule you got coming up over the next few weeks, Patrick.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just going to be baseball and golf, the 2 best nap sports. It's going to be a great weekend for napping. What, Duty? Is that what you're saying now?
Doty, I think. Doty, I don't know. We'll have this.
This is Duty. They're saying Duty.
We're working. Okay. I don't know. That's all kinds of things.
They can't have a baseball field called Duty Field.
We'll check into it.
That can't be possible.
We'll check into it. We'll yeah. It's why you got to participate in the live stream. Some mornings you got to get in. You got to be able to offer your opinion, see what we look like, check out our faces. Sometimes Patrick's live stream freezes up and we get a neat picture of him. So lot going on. We'll do it for 2 more days. Tim and Jen expected back. Hopefully they don't enjoy their vacation too much. They're expected back on Monday, and we'll roll from there. Again, just a few other things today. The Braves and Nationals, a double header. You can listen to it on WISW, our sister station on the AM side of things. That'll get going here in about 2 hours. First pitch expected at 12:05. Braves 0-4, man. They've got to win one of those suckers today. Patrick, on the other hand, a Nationals fan, is pulling for a nice 2-0 day for the Nationals.
Oh, if we go 2-0 today, we're winning the World Series.
Oh, of course. There we go.
We go 2-0 without half our starting lineup. Sky's the limit.
The man who just told you baseball is a reactionary sport and to calm down now says a 2-0 Wednesday.
That'll be 3-0 start.
3-0 start. 3-0 start. We appreciate everybody joining us on the text, on the live stream as well. We hope you have a great day. We'll be back. Masters coverage with us tomorrow morning. Have a great afternoon. You've been listening to Bill Gunner and Patrick Prep, 107.5 The Game.
Clear.
Is it only 7 innings? I don't.
Yeah, they're doing 7-inning doubleheaders.
Oh, look at Hope jumping in there with the joke at the very end. That's how you wrap it up. Did we end up getting back to 7-11? Is that the number that we ended up on the YouTube?
I'll check right now.
I feel like everybody got all
7-12.
7-12. Good finish, everybody. Good finish.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh,
We want to get to at least 750 by the end of the week.
750. Yeah. All right. Well, we keep
That'll
pushing.
be the goal. That'll be the goal.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Everybody have a great day.
Adios.